Sunday, May the 4th be with you, 2025. Pembroke Cricket Live back on the air shortly, so soon after the first team victory yesterday. And today we are to be entertained, one hopes, by the 11 of Pembroke against Sandyford. This is an inter-cup game. It's a T20 game, so we're expecting it to be hurly-burly, big bash. IPL, PSL, Caribbean League-esque. Now, as for the weather conditions today, it's a great Irish summer day. It's overcast. There's not too much of a breeze. You can only see patches of blue around. But that doesn't stop the Pembroke faithful turning out this afternoon. The Sunday of a bank holiday. What else are you doing? If you haven't gone away, come on down. And if you have gone away, enjoy the coverage here with us. It's just me, Craig Senior, and Niall Walsh, our director, producer, and all-round wonderful guy, with you today. Sandyford lost the toss and have been put into the field by Captain Gordon Clark. You see there's a congregation in the middle at the moment. Gordon and Justin, I suspect, will be the hometown umpires for the first few overs. And they'll obviously be replaced at another stage. I'm delighted to say I have been joined in the commentary booth this afternoon by Charlie. Charlie, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Craig. How are you?
Grand. I was just saying that this is a T20 today and bish, bash, bosh stuff.
Good stuff.
So we'll see how this goes. It'll be an interesting one.
It's a beautiful day here at Sydney Parade.
I was saying it's a beautiful Irish summer's day.
Yes,
it's not raining.
Yes, and it's a pleasure, as always, to be alongside the voice of the Irish summer, Craig Senior. I presume, so this will be the opening contest for Pembroke in the Cup here against Sandyford 2.
They had an amazing win last week when they sort of snatched victory from the jaws of defeat.
I'd call that a come-from-behind victory.
I would actually go further than that.
Okay.
I'd say it was Finglas lost that game against our fourths. They really sort of threw that one away with some injudicious batting and no sense of occasion or looking at the scoreboard or anything like that.
So we're going to start with a young gun and an old hand. Aryan looks like he's going to start things off today for Pembroke, and he's joined by Andy Chase at the non-striker's end. Umpires getting ready, last few tosses, and here comes the opening ball. Our bowler, Mr. Joseph, we'll see how he progresses throughout this game.
Well,
got a slip in here for Sandyford early.
That's the thing about T20. You might see him early, you might not see him again.
First ball is called wide. So free cricket here in this first over. You thought you were getting 6, and you'll get 7. Well watched there by Aryan. It's a young player, dynamic with the bat. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see him express himself today. Next delivery. That's a well blocked.
Well, we all think that T20 is, after watching years of IPL, is just swinging of the bat and strike rates of 400 and stuff like that. It's still in the local game, a place for a bit of caution occasionally.
Well watched there, but good legal delivery. Aryan being a bit circumspect in his first over here, which is good to see from the young man.
Now, isn't that better?
Oh, yeah. We've received our seating cushions as we await Mr. Joseph's third delivery. That one's in on the hip and just tucked around the corner for no run.
It's a nice field, certainly, for the set here. You know, they're used to T20.
Yeah, there's been a lot of chatter on this channel around fielding and wanting to see more aggressive fields. We're certainly seeing one from Sandyford here today.
Oh, that's going to be a no ball.
Yeah, full toss above waist height.
There will be no free hit. Not at this level.
No free hit at this level, yeah.
You can't do it with self-umpiring. There's enough controversy in the game already. Now, that one was obviously a no ball, but there are some that are close to, and that's where the dispute comes in, because a free hit is just free runs. Cut away beautifully. Ariane, Muller-Jecker, he gets the first boundary of the innings, is it? No, the fielder keeps it in.
Yes, well kept in there at the end. Throw comes in, and they've run the 3. So,
well, Andy Chase, of course, his innings last week was ended by a run out. So, great to see that he still has the enthusiasm to chase through for a 3rd there.
Yeah, well cut away by Aryan, but these are quite large boundaries from the setup for the 1s yesterday. So not able to get over the rope, but still was able to get his 3, and that brings Andy Chase on strike to face his first ball.
Well,
taps the bat and waits.
Chased that one.
Chased that one. It was off the top of the bat. That runs away to 3rd, and just for 1 run. So he's off the mark.
One got the feeling after watching that stroke that he had decided he was swinging the bat no matter what, in the best tradition of the Silver Foxes, one of their graduates.
And you can't. Yeah, you can't hold that against him. You know, you wanna get bat on ball here early, but so far, shaping up to be a pretty solid first over for Pembroke. Waiting to find a delivery here. Joseph steams in. That's another full toss, but stays low. That's driven and scampered through for 1. So good running there from Pembroke. Good solid first over for 7 runs. After the first, 7 for no loss.
Well, that's one of the important things here, isn't it? There's no wickets thrown away in that first over. And all it will take to split this field, I feel, is if these batsmen get a couple square of the wicket either side, you'll suddenly see boundary riders going back out there, and that will change the dynamic within the ring as well.
Yeah, once the runs start to pile up, then we'll see if Sandyford will stick to their plan of playing that aggressive field, but so far so good for Pembroke.
Well, there's a man outside the ring, certainly over in Michael Sharp corner, just on the end of Cyril's way by the wall. As new bowler Ganguly coming on at the nursery end. I get the feeling that this might be, you can see already how the field has spread. There's 1, 2, 3 outside the circle. No, I'm not sure what the regulations are. We'll assume that if Gordon's happy, then they can't be too wrong.
Yeah, I was fixing to get ready to ask you the regulation, but we'll assume that everything is kosher by Clark. Ganguly, that's a really good cricketing name.
Yeah, it's a famous dynasty, certainly.
Full delivery, that's driven away by Aryan for 1 run.
I always feel it's very tough, especially in India, that if you reach that status of superstar, the Tendulkars, the Virat Kohli and the such like, I would always think that your life is no longer your own.
Yeah, there was not as much zip on that first delivery from Ganguly. I don't know if he was starting with his non-stock delivery just to see where he was at, but we'll take a look at him as he proceeds.
Trying to off-spin it, it's in the air, and it's being put down right in front of the clubhouse. Well, he'll be disappointed, the bowler and the fielder, on that occasion. In fact, I'd say the whole of Sandyford will be disappointed with that. That was quite a simple catch spilled. Yeah,
that was a catchable ball. The fielder didn't quite get to where he needed to be and had to go down to try to get to it. That's one's waved at, but makes its way through the keeper. A bit tricky maybe there with the off-spin. He's getting the revs that he wants, so...
He's certainly putting a lot of his wrist into the off-spin. Off-spinners, most of the time, are finger spinners, but he seems to be using the entirety of his wrist to drag that ball back towards the right-hander. Nice fielding behind point. Those are very green gloves the keeper's wearing, aren't they?
They're very bright. They're high-vis keeper's gloves, maybe a good target for Ganguly. You see all sorts of colors on the gloves these days.
Yeah.
Fuller delivery, that's picked up on the full by Aryan, who races for one, gets through a bit of a misfield.
Could be. Nobody watching.
Aryan ran through and didn't quite turn around in time to see if there was a second, although who knows if a second would have been a good idea anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what happened to Andy last week. He went for a second overthrow. And although the fielder had made a mistake, he didn't make that much of a mistake.
Chase digs back in, awaiting Ganguly. And that one's just tapped right back to him. So Ganguly slows things down after the first over. And we're after 2, 10 for no loss.
And through the wonders of technology, here is a recording that Andy Chase won't want to watch again. He just let it get under him, and he couldn't get the power he wanted into it. He needed to lean back on that one. It's not often you tell a batsman he wants to lean back, but on that occasion. But he was very fortunate that the fielder, and I'm sorry to the fielder who's had to watch that again, or to his teammates. All the Jaffa cakes have arrived.
Oh, wow.
It's become a veritable fast food delight, this place. It's like a confectionery shop at the moment. With crisps and biscuits and
Does the Jaffa cake have kind of an orangey taste to it?
It does, yeah. It has a disc of orange apricot jam.
Yeah, didn't grow up with it. That's short and punished in the air, but it's up high, and that is going to be caught. So unfortunately, that's going to be the end of Aryan's day. He got a short delivery and really wanted to unload on it, but unfortunately, he didn't quite get all of it. It was kind of a hollow sound off the bat. And it went straight up. If
you actually watch this, oh, no, he's cut to the previous. This is the Andy. Okay, well, if you did see there, and those of you who are on YouTube, of course, can rewind and watch this again, but you can see Aryan's bat actually came underneath it, cutting underneath it, and it also hit the toe of the bat as opposed to the middle of the bat, and then that was the difference, that he couldn't clear that fielder, and the wicket falls, and Pembroke find themselves 10 for 1 after 13 balls.
So a happy start for Sandyford to get a wicket in the power play, such as it is, by the regulations of this division. But that'll bring on the new batter, who looks to be Bhushan?
Well,
no?
There you go.
Could be. Oh, I just wait for the name. Can never tell.
Live scoring will give us the correct name, subject to the scorers, of course. It's when it starts coming up with Pembroke scorer as a player. Then you know you're in trouble.
So good start for Sandyford. They've got a wicket here in the first 2 or 3 overs, going according to plan. Let's see how Pembroke responds. Joseph steams in.
That's Bhushan.
Bhushan pokes that one away to third. That's a shot. If you've ever watched the channel before and you've seen him bat, that's a favorite shot of his.
Here's a clue for you with Bhushan. If his run-up towards the ball is longer than the bowler's run-up, it's Bhushan.
Yeah, Bhushan does love to take a couple of steps towards the bowler to cut off that distance to try to get himself in the right place for a good, strong shot. Here comes Chase. And that one's short and pulled just for 1 run.
Square of the wicket shot for Chase. You can see he's looking to release the levers and free his arms up.
Oh, I can relate. I love those deliveries.
Well, that's the closest you get to a pitch, isn't it?
Yeah. Bhushan just watches one go by, but stays within the blue line, so no wide call. Just had a good look at that one. Sandyford moving quickly here. And that's another good delivery. Just hugs that blue line.
It was kept low as well, which didn't help matters as far as the batsman was concerned.
Yeah. So the bat stays squarely in Bhushan's pocket for 2 consecutive deliveries. We'll see if what he wants to do with it here. And he watches a third go by. A bit circumspect for Bhushan. Watches 3 dots go by, but maybe he's got on his mind the early loss of the wicket. So after 3, Pembroke 13 for 1.
Well, there is the card. Plenty of names you may or may not recognise there, but a few of them can swing the bat all right. I don't think Justin Doherty is next man in. He's out there umpiring at the moment. But that is the Pembroke side, and that's where they stand after 3 overs, 13 on the board, and the loss of that first wicket when nice catch taken at mid-on as the batsman failed to clear the fielder.
Here comes the return of the spinner, Gahuli. First delivery is caught on the full by Chase. Quick throw, direct hit.
Direct hit always bringing loud appeals. On this occasion, well, he'd passed the stumps, let alone the line in front of the stumps.
Yeah, he looks safely home.
I think the appeal is more recognition of, hey, you hit the stumps.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Well, that is worthy of a shout.
In fact, he
That's
went
not
to
a
the
given.
wrong end. Look at the batsman here.
Yeah, Bhushan was definitely looking to see what happened.
We should see what's happening from the safe end.
That one lands quite full, hits the pad, but nowhere in line with the stumps, although there is a little bit of a more encouragement than an appeal.
Again, you hit the pads!
Yeah. That dull thud of the ball on the pad. As Bhushan digs in. That's tapped by Bhushan, away for no run. So Ganguly continuing here as he started before, being a bit stingy, really tossing that ball up. No one's really able to make solid contact with it yet. Faster ball.
Just the 4 singles have come from his first 10 balls. And in a T20, that's brilliant.
And that was the thing that nearly every leg spinner does. You know, 1 out of those 6 deliveries will be zipped in just to trick you. Bhushan was on to it and blocked it. Another one blocked away. So dots are piling up here early. One more delivery to come in this over.
Well, it hasn't been exactly lightning from the Pembroke batsman at this stage.
No, we haven't seen much in the way of fireworks yet so far, but we'll see how things progress.
Well, the formulaic captaincy manual says you change them after they've had 2 and you keep 2 for the end. I wonder if Sandyford go on the same basis.
And Ganguly finishes that over with a dot.
What an over, just the 1 run coming from it.
No, I think no runs from it, right? Was the live scoring off?
Oh no, the live scoring is behind because...
No, I don't know. 13.
Well,
it's maiden over for Ganguly. Although, yeah, I think there's something off with that score. There was a run.
It says there was a run down
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in which case the score of the last over should have been 12.
And maybe they're just making up for it.
Yeah. So we'll just put 12 there.
Yeah.
And then we'll know where we are. So Bhushan to face then. Joseph into his 3rd over.
Yeah, he's not being held in reserve. They're just going to keep going with what's working. Joseph delivers. That's out wide this time, not able to keep it within the blue line. And Chase just watches that one go. So good start for Sandyford here. Pembroke haven't quite yet fired. 2 more than capable batters at the crease. As Joseph steams in for his 2nd. Bat on ball there, but that's just blocked away.
Chase isn't getting the one he wants. It's somewhere between that wide and that ball. Just enough that he can put a big swing into it.
Yeah. He wants something between those. He wants like a 5th or 6th stump.
If he was playing PGA Tiger Woods golf now, he'd be saying, I select car park.
That one smashed right back and caught.
That's a fine dismissal by Joseph. Caught and bowled. You could see that Castle had selected car park. He was looking for a big hit and it got too high on his bat and it just popped up back towards the bowler, where I have to say I couldn't bend down to, and he did very well to get down to that and take the catch.
It was an excellent bit of bowling and fielding by Joseph. Bounced up a little bit higher than Chase expected, came off the top of the bat, and Joseph finished the job here. Very satisfying, caught and bowled. As we watch the replay here.
It's a bad ball. It's pulled in, but you can see it's just too high on the bat.
And a great catch by Joseph there. We see in the replay just how low it was. It was a real shoestring catch.
Yeah. Yep. And of course, the difference between baseball and cricket is that your hand has to get that far down. Whereas in baseball, you can get your glove to scoop underneath it. You can't do that with your hand without getting an awful way long down. Second wicket fallen, 14 on the board.
And we'll see who's coming in for Pembroke. Yeah. This is harsh. No? Someone's really, yeah, I think that's harsh. Taking his time.
Harsh Chowdhury.
Harsh Chowdhury. Watches the first delivery.
I don't know, there just seems to be a tentative feel around the Pembroke players.
Yeah, there's a bit of nerves. Oh, no, thank you. I think I have had a Jaffa cake, and maybe it wasn't for me, or I don't know. I'll try another one again soon enough. That one's blocked. So Joseph seems to be doing a good job kind of working his way outside and in. He's either along the blue line or he's going right at that off stump. And really, as the Pembroke batters are waiting for that delivery that is safe enough to take a swing at, but also not so far out that that they're not going to get a good cut at it, Joseph's not giving it to him.
Well, you remember the first time Andy Chase hit the ball, it was off the toe of the bat and went down to third man. And that's what happens when you chase those wide ones.
And there's a wide delivery that Harsh does go for, but doesn't quite make contact, and it's called a wide. So we'll get an extra delivery here from Joseph.
Again, you see, he thought he was reaching out for it, but all he did was stick his bum out and his arms out, and they balance each other out, and you're in the same position.
Yeah, if you
didn't move his feet.
If you don't take that step, you don't actually get any closer to the ball. And that one's driven away, but for no run there to point.
Sun has come out, making a peek through one of these blue bits of sky around us.
Yeah, it'll be one of those days. I think it'll be cloudy with spells of sun rather than sunny with spells of cloud. Joseph comes in for his final delivery of the over. That one's a full toss, but driven straight back. And that'll just be for one quick run. So some contact made, a couple of extras, but the wicket in it. And you'd have to say that Sandyford will be very happy with the start of this this game, these first 5 overs.
Yes, to have your opposition after 5 overs at 16 for 2, you've knocked over 2 of the big bats. You've kept them down to a run rate of under 3.5. I think you'd be absolutely delighted at the moment. All you can see Pembroke doing at this stage is sort of, if they score it just over a run of ball, they'll end up somewhere around the 110, 115 mark. 120 is minimum.
We'll have our first bowling change here from the nursery end, Mr. Rao. Based on the length of his run-up, looks to be some spin. So let's see what this first change of bowling brings for both Sandyford and Pembroke. If Sandyford can keep this momentum going, they'll be delighted. And let's see if Pembroke likes the look of these bowlers a little bit better, because the first opening pair have done very well. First delivery is tapped around the corner. There's potentially 2 here. Fielders are running not quite there yet, but caution is heeded. And it's just the single.
No point in losing another wicket to a run out at this stage. But yes, you see immediately change bowler comes on, and the first one ball brings a run. It's amazing. You can have the best opening partnership in the world, but the truth of the matter is, what really matters is how your change bowler is going to do, especially in one where each bowler is limited to 4 overs.
Okay, Bhushan has gone helmetless here against the spin to get a better look. Here it comes. That's a big, fast cut, but doesn't make contact, straight to the keeper's hands for a dot. Good start from Rao here with his third delivery. Bhushan steps towards it and taps it away to the covers, but no run. So Bhushan's starting to want to move his feet a little bit. He's unencumbered. He's lost the helmet. Maybe he's looking to dance a little bit down the wicket and get a shot here.
I think you'll find that's what he will do.
He dances again, nearly the identical shot. Maybe trying to cut that off before it has time to pitch and move. But again, Sandyford doing a good job, working quickly. And Rao makes a little field adjustment here. He's gesturing with his hand, but I don't see who's moving.
Bavaskar has 1 run from 12 deliveries at the moment.
That's very un-Bavaskar numbers.
Yeah, he really would want to get himself going soon. And that's not the shot to do it with either.
Yeah, another swing and a miss from Bhushan.
He seems to be filled with a little bit of doubt, self-doubt here.
Yeah. I was going to use the word flummoxed, perhaps, but we'll see how this last one goes.
I think he has more queries about himself than he does about the bowler at the moment.
So a very tidy over from Rao, just the 1 run off it, and a number of deliveries that looked like carbon copies of the other. So there were 3 swings and misses outside of off by Bhushan, and then 2 little pokes just to the cover. So Rao keeps the energy and the momentum going. So far, so good for the first change for Sandyford.
Well, Pembroke's run rate below 3 and over in a T20. You'd almost say it was a sin on a Sunday.
Are we allowed to talk about run rate this early, or just because it's T20?
Because it's T20, and because Sandyford have done a fine job of keeping Pembroke pinned down. They've taken the wickets at the right time in the 3rd and the 5th overs, and the fielding's been good, and the batting has been... I don't want to use the word... No, and I won't use the word, so there you go.
It hasn't been there.
But
it hasn't been what they want, and the field remains aggressive. So we came into this broadcast thinking, okay, well, Sandyford are being quite aggressive in their field setting. Maybe as the runs start to flow, we'll start to see guys dribble back towards the boundary, and we're not seeing that at all. So Sandyford feeling very confident.
With another one in the air, it's just going to beat the fielder behind point. They are going to take 2. And again, Chowdhury himself not scoring at a great rate. That takes him on to 4 from 6 deliveries. He's going to want to, and again, I think the false shot shows that he's looking to score runs now.
Yeah. Well, this is the second new bowler, Mr. Somasundaram. Oh, that's a lot of width, and that's cut away. Nice sound off the bat, and that's going to race and go for 4.
Well, you picked up perfectly there, Charlie. It was the sound of the ball off the bat. Now, it won't come up on a replay either. That's a shame. You'll have to go back on your YouTube, but that just sounded beautiful off the bat.
Yeah, it was one of those sounds that's not indicative of a hard swing, but rather a well-timed swing.
Perfect. Sometimes, you know, when you time it the right way, you can't even be sure you hit the ball.
So 2 swings of the bat from Harsh make a big difference in the scoreline for Pembroke. And they're certainly liking the look of this new bowler, Mr. Somasundaram, but let's see how he responds. Harsh digs in, taps his bat a couple of times, and waits. It's a better delivery there, more at off stump, and it's blocked away by Harsh.
I always had a feeling the next ball was going to be right in at the batsman. I thought he may have even overcompensated to gone down the leg side.
There was a game within the game here, a bit of a conversation between the player umpire Justin, who is a pace bowler himself, noting the foot position of the bowler.
Everyone square the wicket, going up for that appeal. They get through for what will be signalled a leg bye.
So a leg bye, and a good that it's called leg bye because it was drifting down leg, nowhere near an LBW call.
What do you think of the new monitor Niall has provided us with today?
It's big but not bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's a nice shot. Down on one knee, powers it through the offside. It's going to run away to the boundary, surely, and does so, jumping the rope. And that is more like the sort of batting we expect to see from Bavaskar.
Yeah, great shot from Bhushan. He went out for that one. That one stayed kind of low, but he went down low himself, got down to one knee, got the bat on it, and looped it over the circle. And it was 4 the second it left the bat.
It was a nice shot. Shot of the day so far. There haven't been too many aggressive shots. But, yep, that was super stuff there.
Bhushan awaits the final delivery, takes a step forward, puts bat to it. It's looped in the air. The fielder's there. It's bobbled and it's put down. heartbreak for Sandyford. The fielder did a really good job of covering the ground, but he was moving when he got to the ball, and he's disappointed in himself. You can see Bhushan steps over, steps forward, just got under it a little bit too much. You can see the replay here. He gets there, but he's still moving. He got it high, had a second chance on the way down, but it still hit the ground.
Well, that's 7 overs gone now.
So some good batting for Pembroke that over, as well as a gift, from the drop in the field.
And you can see the scorecard there. The openers didn't really get going, but then again, it's only in the last over that the next pair have sort of shown the aggressiveness, the attacking intent.
And one over has doubled the run rate, so that's how slow the start was. And that'll bring back Rao, who gave up just 1 run in his previous over.
Well, 12 runs coming off that previous over. No wickets, despite the drop catch, or because of the drop catch. And Pembroke will start to feel a little bit better. 4 and over isn't enough in a T20, but they're moving in the right direction.
Another swing and a miss from Bhushan, who hasn't quite yet figured out what Rao's doing. There have been enough of those swings and misses that you wouldn't expect to see from him, that it's definitely going to be in his head at this point. Bhushan waits, again, helmetless. Rao delivers. That's a shorter delivery, another cut, and another miss.
Stop trying to hit it so hard, gentlemen. Place it.
Oh, I'd love to see what Harsh does against this bowler, but I don't think we've seen him against Rao's deliveries yet. It's mostly been Bhushan from this end.
18 deliveries faced now. His score on 6. He's looking to increase it, but he's also in grave danger of losing his wicket because he's going to miss one of these, and it's actually going to be on the stumps.
Yeah, if you didn't see the first delivery of this over, it didn't matter. The second one was a carbon copy of the first, and if you didn't see the second, it doesn't matter because the third was the carbon copy of the second, which was a copy of the first. So Rao is being very consistent, and Bhushan's just not quite able to get to him. Now, that's the faster ball. That's zipped in, but it seems to hit a pad, but harmlessly enough. But another dot ball. Yeah, another dot ball.
It's
so you can see why they're going to this guy so early, and he's really throttling this end of the wicket.
Tossed up, really fooling the batsman. He's right inside Bhushan's head.
Oh
now.
yeah. I think if you're Bhushan, the best move is to just maybe drop one of those and try to get off strike and see if your partner can have better luck.
Stop trying to hit boundaries,
yeah. Well, from this angle, that shorter boundary at the clubhouse is very tempting.
Well, wouldn't you also think that Bhushan would want to be down the other end to face the guy he's hit for a couple of boundaries? And another dot, and that's a maiden in the 8th over of a T20. I have to say, a few of our viewers no doubt have their own views on that. Remember, you can join in on the text on the YouTube channel if you're a subscriber.
Wait, are we really asking people to sound off in the comments on that maiden?
Well, I'm sure somebody will at some stage. Nobody's joined in as yet.
Yeah, Bhushan and Harsh having a chat here right in front of us as the helmet's getting put back on. Hopefully they can figure out what they want to do, or at least make a plan to give Harsh a crack at this leg spinner who 11 dots and 1 single is off to a fantastic start. Sandyford bowling is really impressing in the main so far. So that'll bring back Mr. Somasundaram. Yeah, last over was big. He went for 12 runs. So
11 of his bowling, but there were 12 runs in that over.
So let's see how he responds. A couple of adjustments, some chatter and some hands, people moving around. Craig will do a better job of actually describing what that means in terms of people on the field.
Well, the people in the blue shirts are spread out in a bunch.
Yeah, well, that'll work.
That's about it.
So Somasundaram begins his second over. That one comes down the leg side. It's kept by the keeper. People seem to think there was maybe a sound. If anything, maybe it was off pad or hip. It didn't have that sharp
It certainly wasn't
sound.
a bat, was it?
No, it wasn't. Could have been off a glove, maybe. I don't know. It was a good move by the keeper, who...
he did well going down the leg side.
Yeah, went down, did a little roll, looked really good.
It must have hit something, though, otherwise it would have been wide. This one is
driven in the air. It's
hit.
high, it's far, and waiting the signal, couldn't really see. It's going to be 4. That's about as long a 4 as you can get in terms of coverage in the air. It bounced centimeters from the rope.
Here it is. Well, here's the picture of the fielder following the ball.
There it is.
Just inside the rope, but finally an attacking shot.
That's the right call from the umpire,
Cut.
Doherty.
Played outside. Wide ball. He wasn't going to make the same mistake twice to Harsh, so he put this one a bit wider, but it was too wide.
Yeah, so Harsh got back to that one. Missed a 6 by the narrowest of margins.
But you see how the field has changed already.
Yeah, we've got a fielder right here in front of us.
There are boundary riders down at third. Point long on.
And now comes the no ball. So I mentioned in the last over that umpire Doherty, who's a bowler himself, had a quiet word with Somasundaram, probably saying, all right, my friend, you're coming close.
Yeah.
Clean it up. And the cleaning up didn't happen. So the no ball call comes. You know what? I think that's actually a really nice thing to see when it's player umpires, you know, that there's a bit of respect and communication done. And so that when the call comes, there's no question about why.
That one's wide again. He's just, that big hit has just thrown the bowler off at the moment. He needs to get back to basics.
So we're seeing a batter who's got a bowler in his head, and now we're seeing a bowler who may have a batter in his head in terms of Somasundaram maybe not quite getting into the rhythm that he wants.
Yeah. Not really. It's like being in Specsavers sometimes, you know. Well, that's a bit wide as well. Well, this is wide, no ball, wide, wide. Pembroke won't mind. They need every run they can get, and if Sandyford are willing to give them a few like this, then that's a very big cup.
So Somasundaram takes a little minute, collects himself. Oh, it looks like he's switching around. He's coming around the wicket now. Maybe trying to get that angle. It's caught on the full and driven. Our boundary rider charges it. It's just going to be a single.
And now you get your wish.
What wish?
Oh, that was Harsh there, wasn't it, with the single?
Yeah, that was Harsh. So now that's going to bring Bhushan down to face Somasundaram. Now, we haven't seen this matchup yet. We know that Bhushan's been a bit stymied by the spinner Rao. Let's see what he can do against Somasundaram here.
I think he'd be happier against the pace.
Yeah, Somasundaram still is going to continue around the wicket, trying to give himself a different angle. Bhushan gives a couple taps and waits. Steps forward, big swing, catches the edge. It's over the fielder's head. It's going to run a little bit down, but the boundary rider swoops in. Oh, are they taking the second? They are, and they'll be safely home. So that was a 2 kind of over the head of...
Yeah, behind point, deep gully, and it just crept over his hand. It was one of those, you see it go up there and you know you can't reach it, but you throw the hand up just on the off chance you've misjudged it. And you can't make up the ground, and it's horrible.
It was very anxious looking too. Another swing and a miss there from Bushi, so he's not really seeing the stuff outside.
His timing is so far off at the moment.
Like, it almost looks like his arms are tired. Like he's not getting the speed around the bat that he would normally get. Well, this very long over from Somasundaram with the wides and the no balls, 4 extras in it so far. This, if legal, will be the final delivery of this over. It's coming around the wicket has helped him as he steams in for his last. Bhushan steps forward, puts bat to ball. That's in the air. That's going. That's going. That's gone for 6. So Bhushan steps forward, finally gets one he likes, and makes the contact he's been looking for some time.
Well, the bowler's not going to be happy with his figures. 0 for 28 from just the 2 overs. That over alone costing 17 runs. That's the closest I've seen to IPL for quite a while. And he went big on that. And after 9 overs, score finally 46 for 2. And the run rate is over 5.
Yeah, so after a slow start, you know, it's been a game of 2 types of overs. Yeah. Either nothing happening or everything happening. You know, it's been, if we look at the Manhattan, what it's going to look like is if you built the Burj Khalifa in a ranch house development. You know, it's going to be 1 over is 1 run, and then boom, shoots up to
We'll try and see if we have that.
Oh,
amongst
okay.
our
Yeah, maybe we
graphics.
can pull that up. That's going to look like you built the city in the middle of the country. So here we go. Is this Rao again? Don't have the score yet. Either way, that's just tapped straight back.
Well, that's
but they're
quite
going to take
sensible.
one run. Yep.
Take the runs that are on offer. Stop trying to hit everything for 6.
So Bhushan,
Talking of which,
helmetless again, is going to face Rao. So we've seen now that, well, what happened is I think Harsh now realized, like, oh no, I wanted to face this guy. Yeah, just do that. Just take it easy. Give him a bit of reassurance to his partner. I don't know if we're going to see Soma Sundaram again after 2 overs, giving up 28.
well,
But-
it depends what else is out there, really.
Yeah.
There must be somebody who can turn their arm over, you'd be thinking as captain.
First delivery to Rao. That's plonked by Bhushan. It's high over the fielder's head. That's going to go, and that's called 6 by umpire Clark.
And well, that's the 50 up for Pembroke. It's been somewhat of a struggle to get there. We're into the 10th over, but finally the batter, Baviskar, he's starting to catch up now. He's 20 off 26, and he was 1 off 12, don't forget.
Well, you could see in that replay, he did that kind of classic, went onto the front leg. You see the back leg kind of pirouette a little bit.
A flamingo shot.
Sure. Yeah, it was lovely. And, you know, he finally, maybe it stayed low or he got what he wanted. But either way, he was finally able to teach Rao a lesson as he delivers again. Oh, and he just taps that one around.
The tricks are coming out now. That's what that is.
And they're going to very wisely wait on that, not push for the potential run out, but also, too, we get a chance to see Harsh against Rao.
Now the matchup.
Yeah, this is the matchup we've been asking for, because until that previous 6, Bhushan wasn't quite able to get the measure of Rao.
Chowdhury now.
Oh, Fuller ball that is smacked and hits the hands of the fielder. That's thrown, hits the stumps, but it looked like Chowdhury was safe home.
Well, the umpire, Gordon Clark, very quick with his decision there, and quite rightly, he was well home. 55 for 2. 2 balls left till the halfway mark, at which point we'll see if we can find that Manhattan. Oh, that's cut away beautifully. That is going to be another boundary. That runs away. Well, if they'd had a slip in place, maybe it would have hit him. It wasn't a catch or a chance, but this was that was a super shot. This, on the other hand, is the run that they took with the fielding in the infield.
Yeah, this was the run-out chance that hit straight into the hands of the fielder, picked up, hits the stumps, but Harsh was home. Maybe we can get a replay here soon of that little feathered cut.
No, that's gone.
Yeah, okay.
However,
so the runs are now flowing against Rao for the first time. In his 3rd over, they finally timed him a little bit, his final delivery. And that one's just tapped right back to him. I think that's very sensible by Bhushan. They've gotten some runs against this guy for the first time, so let's get him out. Now let's see. Okay, we've hit the 10 over mark. Will we take a drinks? Will we take a break?
No. We'll keep going. But there's your...
Yeah. Okay, so here's the Manhattan, and you can really get a sense that...
the play button has been pressed.
Yes. But, you know, some very enterprising real estate developer has decided to build some seaside beachfront condos.
Well,
And left, maybe there's a site that's left for a future development, but if anything, that Manhattan looks Malaga-like in terms of the condos right there by those low numbers. So, like we said, it's been feast or famine for Pembroke with the bat. And so far, the bit more feasting in these more recent overs as they've reached the halfway point of their batting innings.
Well, having conceded 1 run from his first 2 overs, Rao conceded a further 11, 12 from that over, 13.
So here comes the second change. This is Mr. Aruna Kalam from the St. John's Road end. His first delivery to Harsh is wide and cut away past the diving fielder. There's a boundary rider who'll cut it off. It'll just be the 1.
Again, good set field from Sandyford. There aren't too many sort of misplacements we'd be talking about. It's a 6-3 field. He's expecting his bowler to bowl down off stump, the skipper. He's not too much protection on the leg side, and you get the feeling that Bouchan is looking straight again.
He's well covered on that offside, so far bowling to the field has worked with one delivery. Here comes the second. Bouchan takes a step down, takes a big swing that falls in the gap. It's going to run and go all the way for 4. So the fielder was down here in front of us at deep.
Long on,
thank you. But it went a little bit wide to his right, to the deepest part. You can see, here comes the step forward, waist high, bang.
That's when you know Bouchan is in the mood. When he's more comfortable on his feet are moving. And when he was playing Rao earlier on, you could see he was very tentative getting forward.
Yeah.
But now certainly he prefers pace.
Yeah, Rao was tripping him up where it was all arms and not enough legs, and he's gotten his legs going, and he's seeing things a bit better. Here comes the third delivery. Oh, that one's in on the feet,
but super shot.
Scooped off the legs in the air. It was called a 4, but
yeah,
I thought it was a 6.
No, it bounced just in front of the rope.
Okay. I missed the bounce.
And bounced into the hands of the waiting Pembroke sideline.
Is a lovely clip off the legs by Bouchan up into the air.
He's now over a run of ball. When it was 1 off 12. And the trouble with Bouchan is that when he gets out, having been 1 off 12, if he goes on, my goodness, he can be destructive.
Another step forward, waist high shot that's driven straight down here towards long on. It'll just be 1 run. So the swings are coming out. We're hearing, we're starting to see a little bit of the fireworks pop.
You see the run rate creeping up to 6.5 now. These two have done an absolutely fabulous job. They've put on 50 together.
A good delivery might slow that down there. That's blocked away by Harsh. So yeah, the Pembroke bats have woken up. The run rate is up where they wanted it to be from the beginning, thanks to some more recent over-heroics from these two. Aaron Cullum delivers short and punished down to the leg side, 1 bounce for 4. So after a good 5th delivery, the 6th is too short, too much space, and Harsh just pivots on his hip, and it's gone with a bang, as you see the replay here.
Another good over for Pembroke, 14 coming off it, 3 boundaries, including that swipe out into the leg side, ending up hitting the fence on Cyril's way. The score has moved on to 73 for 2 after the first 11 overs, and the tightness that Sandyford had from their openers, well, that's just evaporated.
Well, so far it's been a game of 11 overs, Craig.
Yep.
Some overs good for Sandyford, bad for Pembroke. Like we've said, it's been really feast or famine, which can definitely happen in T20. Like sometimes if a certain bowler is going and a certain batter is in a certain mindset, that'll happen. Another bowling change here. We're going to see a new bowler, Mr. Rastogi.
Well, as you said, they're certainly not going back to the first change bowler second change bowler, rather, who was bowling from the St. John's end.
Yes.
28 off 2 overs.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'd say that his day bowling is most likely over. It's not his day, unfortunately. And we've all had those days.
Ah, haven't we just? Haven't we just?
So I guess we're going to see some more spin from Mr. Rastogi. I'm going to put a little H. I'm going to go rash rather than a Rastogi. I'm going to rash Togi. I'm guessing that, why not?
Why not? You go for that.
So we're going to say it's spin because Bouchan remains helmetless.
Well, not only that, but having seen how the previous spinner tied him in knots, I think they're thinking, right, let's try and show him another spinner that he's got to work out.
First delivery from the new bowler is short, and that's looped
him
over
out.
the infield, and that's going to run away for 4. So good, solid contact from Bouchan. Just drives that to
the Willfield Road gate.
There you go. I didn't know if that's one of the kind of micro locations that you've named over the years.
From where we're sitting here in front of the Aidan Dempsey score box, you've got car park, you've got Cyril's Way, Michael Sharp Corner, the chapel, the bar, the pavilion, the changing rooms, the scorers, O'Rourke's, which is the one with the door in it, and then Con's Nook, where the 2 seats are, and then all the way across to the Willfield Road gate. And then you've got the railway line and over there.
Well, with all that said, it's 4.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
The first delivery from Rastogi.
We might do that next over, Amanda.
With an S or an H either way. We'll see how he does with the second.
Well, he dragged that one down, and that's going to do nothing for his nerves.
Next delivery is floated. That's caught on the full and clipped away towards the leg side. And it's just going to be the 1 run. So you can see that field getting deeper on that leg side
yes.
as they're very nervous about a drag down delivery. Harsh is going to see this new bowler for the first time. Rastogi gives a couple of spins in his hand, takes his steps, and moves forward for his delivery. That one's...
Oh, that's just foolish. Oh, and it's going to go to the boundary and overthrows. Oh, well, yeah, they only get 4 for that, I think.
A very unfortunate turn of events for Sandyford. They nearly had a chance to catch Bhushan, who was running very aggressively. But in the end, it was just a temptation for overthrows and 4 runs.
Well, that is not what they wanted, Sandyford. Just giving away a boundary. But in the same position, I don't blame the fielder at all. He was quite within his rights to go for the wicket. It's the people backing up who weren't doing their job.
Yeah. The backing up wasn't there, and it all happened pretty fast. It was pretty bang, and Rastogi was not able to get back and cover the wicket, unfortunately. Only a direct hit would have done it, and there was no backup there. Next delivery is Fuller, and that's driven straight, and potentially another run-out chance. Ooh, it slips through the fielder's hands, and they'll be safely home.
Yeah, don't run on a misfield.
So a little bit of Keystone Cops in the last 2 deliveries here. Sandyford need to slow things down, get a little stick 'em on the hands, and take a breath.
10 off the first 4 balls.
Now this is a prime point to not get too greedy with this over.
Yep.
Right, you've got 10, and you'll get another chance at this guy. That's a good Yorker. That's just dug out there by Bhushan and driven straight back. So better delivery from Rastogi there. Some good positive chatter in the field in response to that one. Bhushan digs in for the last. Big swing, that's driven straight down. Fielder's running over to it. It's over his head, and it's across the boundary, and it's being waved for 4. So another long 4. We've seen a couple of loopy kind of bounce right before the rope kind of 4s, but the numbers still count as the 2 batters bash fists in the center, and it's happy days now. Well, after a very slow start.
After what was a slow start, and even by these 2, they didn't get off to the rate of knots. But you see here, Bhushan has contributed 42 to this partnership of 73, and Chowdhury's contributed 25. So that's, what's that, 67? 67, so 6 extras in there as well.
But 73 runs off 46 balls, that's very backloaded. You know what I mean? Like early on in this partnership, it would have been a very small amount of runs off a very high amount of balls.
Bhushan's there, he's 43 off 36 in total. Yeah. But he was 1 off the first 12. So 24, he scored 42, which is far more reflective of the Bhushan we've come to expect.
Yeah, he just didn't have his coffee this morning. At 2 o'clock start, maybe? He prefers it earlier?
Perhaps he'd be better off with the noon start or a 1 o'clock start.
Yeah, but it's happy days between the 2 of them in the center right now. And we'll see. So some movement around the field. Captain standing next to the wicket in the St. John's Road end directing traffic. And we'll see. This is, okay, so this is the second over from Mr. Aruna Kalam.
He bowled his first from the other end, didn't he?
I don't remember.
That's
caught
an
the bottom inside edge. When it rains, it pours. Unfortunately for Sandyford, they had a really good start. They took 2 early wickets, but now the runs are just flowing and piling on, and the luck is just not going their way.
Wow. That was a shame. I mean, the bowler will feel hard done by there. There's not a lot you can do about that. Pembroke into the 90s now.
Short ball, that's smacked. It's straight towards the fielder who's running in. It takes 1 bounce in front of him. Make sure it doesn't get past him. It's just going to be a very long single. Now, he didn't quite get all of that. That was kind of a hollow sound off the end of the bat.
Yeah, he knows it himself.
That'll bring Bhushan back on strike, who's 43 off 36 after being 1 off 12, as Craig noted. So a very slow start. He's put the He's put the knocks, right? If for fans of the Fast and the Furious, he's put the supercharger on it so far as he takes a step forward, but then runs it away down the corner. It looked like he wanted to launch it into the car park, but then he dribbled it down towards third.
And that was the thing. He came down the track and realised that it wasn't the ball for car park. It was the ball just to take a single, keep the scoreboard moving. And this was stuff that wasn't happening earlier in his innings. He didn't have that freedom to just tap it away and take his single.
And Harsh clips that away towards the offside. It's fielded within the ring. It's just going to be the one. So runs are flowing. Strike is rotating.
And you see how the field has changed now. It was 6-3 earlier on, but with the way that the Pembroke batsmen were pulling stuff over to the leg side, it's now a 5-4 field. They've moved a fielder over from the offside to the leg side, and that then opens up gaps on the offside that weren't there before. Oh, there's an argument, there's a disagreement about who's got to get where, and he does get home, and in fact, wow, 3 players backing up. It's the middle of the 3 who finally take the rolling ball.
Bhushan was nearly all the way finished his run, and Harsh had his arm up being, stop, go back. And then he eventually had to run, and the only thing that saved him.
He didn't. He could have sent Bhushan back, but however, Harsh was looking after his partner as much as himself. Bhushan now on 44, Pembroke on 94.
Yeah.
So run rate has improved nearly a nudge under 7.5.
Bhushan takes a step forward, big swing. He's out of his crease.
Toss. They're going to take the run, and it's all falling apart for Sandyford now. The wicketkeeper throwing the ball at the stumps in frustration, and that was when the Pembroke batsmen realised they could get through for a free run, and that really does reflect, I think, the feeling in the Sandyford side now. They had Pembroke 17 for 2 after 6 overs, and 7 overs later, another 80 runs have been scored.
Right, it's 97 for 2 after 13 overs here at Sydney Parade, where the sun has come out enough that the wall is warming. I think we can say that. So now's your chance to zip on down and maybe catch the second innings here. You know, I think now is a good time for these 2 batters to have a chat about their calling.
Do you know what's really nice? Captain of the first 11 is down, watching the fourths. I always like to see that has an interest in sides below his.
Yeah, you like to see the connection between the levels of the club and the access to the top players.
Yeah, absolutely.
With those who are just beginning their journeys or ending them.
Or us mere mortals. Yeah, it was a star-studded side Pembroke had out yesterday.
This is not... Oh.
Bhushan trying to switch it, missed it, which confused everybody, including the wicketkeeper, and they got through for what I suspect will be signalled as a bye, and is Gordon Clark's hand raising to the skies. If you do that...
Oh, that's better.
It just mutes it automatically.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah,
Sorry,
rather than everybody have to listen to me cough.
Yeah.
No, I was confused by that because I wasn't sure who the bowler was, but it is Rastogi again. He's back for his second over after getting a bit of tap his first, but not a great start as he approaches for his second delivery. Spins. That's a fuller ball and blocked away by Harsh. Harsh has the helmet on. Bhushan still helmetless. Who were some of the great helmetless against spin batters?
Richie Richardson,
yes.
always just come out with the big floppy on, and the big gold chain with the cross on the end. That's a late shot at one outside off stump. That goes through for a dot. The bowler will feel a lot better about that.
Yeah, it froze his legs there. That was all arms. Didn't step into it. Didn't really have much of a chance. So good delivery from Rastogi.
It's good to see our Australian commentator.
Short ball, that's pulled. It goes straight past the fielder in the ring. It's going to go past the deep fielder and go all the way down towards the something gate that Craig will tell me what it is.
Willfield Road.
Thank you. And that's another 4.
Well, that ball, that fielder there, it looked almost Spanish in its olé as it went past him, but it took a big jump off the wicket in front of him, and he had no chance at stopping that. And then after it beaten him, well, it was just a race down to the gate. Pembroke have brought up 102 now, still for 2 off 13.4, which is how long it took. Graham guessed it would take the first to get 95 yesterday. This is played out in the offside, square of the wicket. They'll come through for a single. Fielding isn't clean. But yes, 100 up, and these two, well, they're doing exceptionally well. for
Yeah, they
Pembroke.
continue on. Harsh is reminding us all that he's still here. The last big shots, more recent, have been from Bhushan, who's still 46 off 40.
And yet Harsh is scoring at almost 150. He's probably about 120, 25 there.
Yeah, after a slow start, it's become a good day out for both these gentlemen. Oh, yeah. Bhushan switches, but then taps it away. They're running the back for the second. The fielder goes, it's an underarm throw in, and that'll be an easy 2 for Bhushan. So it looked like he wanted to play the trick shot, but it wasn't on, and he just redirected it down the leg side, or sorry, down the offside.
And it's such a shame because if he hadn't decided before the ball was bowled what he was going to do, like watch how early he's now moving now. He has no idea of the line. He's decided I'm playing this left-handed.
Yeah.
So he backed himself into that corner. Now, he got out of it with some elegance. But if he'd stayed the way he was, it was a full toss on leg stump that should have been landing on the railway lines.
Well, he can see he's on 46. You'd think you'd wait for your half-century before you do that. But
Oh,
then again,
no,
that's not how Bhushan plays.
He starts his innings like that.
Yeah. Bhushan, enjoys Bhushan enjoys expressing himself.
I was playing Whelan Cup before T20 was even invented.
The medium of.
We never dreamt of a score of 200 then, did we?
No, 120 was a winning score.
So Rastogi's second over goes. Now at this point, so far,
And they
it
must
was
be
really
running out of
it was
bowlers.
really Rao who was the most successful bowler so far. He's very stingy, except for that last over when Bhushan finally got the measure and got a 6 off him. But he's only got 1 over left.
And, of course, Joseph, I think, bowled 3 at the start as well, so he could be in a bit of doo-doo. The captain has shuffled his cards.
Well, here comes Ganguly, who I'm forgetting how well he did earlier. So
Yeah,
he
just-
only had the 4 runs off the 2 overs. So see if he can try to break
So
this
he'll be
partnership.
bowling the 15th and the 17th, which still leaves 18, 19 as well from this end.
Ganguly gets ready and delivers. And that's called a wide.
He's not going to spin it that much, that's for sure. I think his bowlers have left him with very little to choose from.
Ganguly's second. That's driven straight down the ground. And picked up.
Almost with too much force. It reached the fielder quicker than they would have wanted. There's that shot again. He backed himself into that corner. Now he did get out of it elegantly. Perhaps not what Niall meant to show us.
Ganguly's third is again pushed down that corner by Bhushan. He does like that shot. Big hard throw comes in, but it is backed up, so an extra run won't be attempted.
You can see from here the big smile on Bouchon's face as he was calling for a second just to hurry the fielder up. So 107 for 2. We're in the 15th over, and it's certainly looking a lot brighter for Pembroke now.
Now,
They're looking at 150 as a final score.
Ganguly's fourth is just pushed away to point, and that's just going to be a single there. There's a boundary rider. Now, I think if you're Pembroke, you're playing this right, which is you've got one of the opening bowlers here who was successful.
Yeah, so
You want to see him off.
Let's not take
Yeah.
Don't
Just
take any liberties, mate.
Rotate the strike, handle your business with him, and wait till you see some of the bowlers who haven't had as good a day.
Yeah, absolutely, Charlie. You couldn't have knocked it on the head more. Left-handed. Oh, no. He's showing everything to the bowler now. He drives this one down the ground. The fielder has let it go through his legs. He's not having the best of days. We saw him put down a catch earlier. We saw him decide not to go forward for one as well. And now he's let one go through. And that has brought Baviskar to his half-century. He will be delighted. A little raise of the bat towards the cameras. Shame they wasn't on him at the time. So, well. But that's not how you want to get to your 50 through a fielder doing that. You'll take it. Don't get me wrong, you'll take those 4 runs every day. It's not your fault, but it was an unfortunate slip for the fielder.
Yeah.
And the score now, Baviskar on 1-1, on 53 out of 113. Too many threes in there.
Another left-handed adjustment, big swing and a miss. He's really going to throw the kitchen sink at it now.
It's bringing all the toys out of the cupboard.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't necessarily be trying that against Ganguly. I'd wait and I'd be patient. his final delivery. Bhushan slips and pokes that down towards third, but is able to get up and just run the single. So all of the attempts, even when the aggressive creativity hasn't worked out for him, he's still been able to kind of adjust, which is a metaphor for his entire innings.
Yes.
When the beginning didn't work for him, he was still able to be patient and adjust, and now here he is, 54 off 45. So a good performance from Bhushan, who's still out there, still seeing the ball well, and ably supported by Harsh, who's doing as good a job.
Absolutely.
And the two of them are, they are the backbone of this Pembroke performance at the moment.
Well, they are this Pembroke performance at the moment. Just a quick look at their partnership.
Oh, that's good. You've got the controller here. Oh, fantastic. So a 100 partnership from these two gentlemen. I don't know if I've ever seen that before from these two. A great day out for these two teammates.
So, 100 partnership has really dug Pembroke out of what was doo-doo at the start.
That's a full toss, and that's
well, there's going to be a fielder there.
Creamed straight towards a deep, long something.
Long on.
Long on. But there's a fielder there, and they only get the one. As we wait for the live scoring to catch up. I know this is not Ganguly, who just bowled from the St. John's end here.
Brilliant.
I wonder if this might be it's Rastogi again on for his third.
Again, it's showing the sort of lack of other options that the Sandyford captain must have.
Fuller delivery from Rastogi, another flip around from Bhushan, who just gets the single as it's dribbled towards point.
Well, here is that appeal.
Oh, it was off the pads, right? Didn't hit back.
Yeah.
That was worth an appeal, I'd say. Worth an appeal.
Oh, definitely worth an appeal. Clipped away on the leg side behind square leg. They'll just pick up a single. Narek, fielder with number 25 on his back, does the fielding.
It's a bit of, so far, a quiet innings for the umpires. Not much for them to do.
Not much in the way of
Not
controversy.
much in the way, yeah, which is good. That's caught on the full by Bhushan, who pops it up in the air. Fielder's under it and takes it. So that'll be the end of Bhaviskar's day. Didn't quite get all of it. And in catching it on the full, the fielder got there in position and was able to hold on. So Bhushan departs 57 off 47 here in the 15th and 3/6 over, 16th over, excuse me. You can see the replay here. He steps forward, catches it, and pops it straight up. The fielder is able to get in position. It was a little bit past his head, but he's able to adjust because he had a solid base. And Bhushan will walk slightly disappointed, but satisfied with a job well done. The two made their 100 partnership, which has been the making of this innings.
Well, there's another thing that doesn't work on this.
What's that?
I was looking for something to come up.
Oh. Well.
There we go.
There we go.
Bhaviskar, 57
for 47, but forget about the asterisk, because we know he's out now.
Yeah.
But we need a moment for the live scoring to catch
So,
up.
48.
And you can disregard the image as well. That is not Bhushan. He never wears a blue shirt. I've never once seen him wear a blue shirt like that.
I say, when you bring up the team, the squad photos,
oh, yes,
it actually looks like Stepford Wives 11.
Oh, it's a nightmare of faceless white men.
Today,
My God.
Today we have a couple of pictures in there. Andy Chase's picture is up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's not his best picture, I'm sure, but yeah.
It's nice to have that option to add a picture, but, you know.
So, a wicket falls, and the partnership is broken.
Do we think this is Naveen? That's driven away to the offside. It's a bit of soccer out there, just outside of the ring, holds it to 1 run.
I think you're exactly right.
I think it's Naveen, yeah.
Now, live scoring hasn't quite caught up with the fall of the wicket and all the excitement. I'm sure Nick was probably caught unaware.
Forget it. Well, that's
What you need to do is actually take your glasses off.
I know,
and then adjust those to your eyesight.
Yeah, well, it's an extra step I'm unwilling to take. But after the excitement of the wicket, this over has kind of concluded relatively uneventfully. We're waiting for the live scoring to catch up. We presume it's Naveen who's come in to replace Bhushan. And Rastogi finishes out that over uneventfully, as we are, I think, 119 for 3 at the end of 16 overs. Bit of chat here between Naveen and Harsh out in the middle between the overs. Harsh is 39 off 31. Yeah, it is indeed Naveen. We've got, as the scoring is caught up, we got confirmation of that. So we'll see in the last 4 overs, excuse me, if we're...
I can't believe Gordon Clark hasn't padded up.
In the last 4 overs here, if we can get a little bit of some big swings of the bat here. Wickets in hand, a bit of time left to swing the bat. Let's see if Pembroke can really push the pedal to the metal, because in the T20 format, every run matters.
New bowler.
Mr. Jawalagiri.
Well, most he's going to get 2. So he's coming into bowl the 17th from the St. John's end. They've used a few bowlers now at this stage.
6 or 7. The first one from Jawalagiri is on the off stump. That's driven away. Good start for him. Gave Naveen something to think about, something to block.
I think the captain's gone to the youth in this occasion, giving him a go, and I think that's a fine thing to do.
He's got that kind of very wristy, late action.
Yep, it's all shoulder there. Oh, big swing from Naveen. He was looking to launch one to the moon.
Wasn't able to catch up with the young man's fastball there. Looking good. Good start for this new bowler. Gives Naveen something to think about as he taps his bat and waits. Ooh, that one's in off the hips. Was running down leg. Was able to get either a little bit of glove or hip or bat or something on it as we wait to signal his leg by.
Well done to Harsh for calling that one through and calling it quickly. It's just giving Naveen a little bit of a break. You've faced a few now. Go and think about it. Yeah. And Harsh definitely has decided he's going to step up here. He's 39 off 31, and yet he was the junior partner of the partnership. But he certainly has done a fine job, and he'll be looking to complete
an adjustment
his own.
Here from Jawalagiri as he's coming around the wicket now in his first delivery to Harsh. That's driven straight back to him, but it gets through. No run called. There was one there to be had, maybe, but it was fielded within the ring, so why take the chance? At this point, you want to dance with the one that brung you, and that's Harsh. You want him sticking around so he can be the one who gets these fireworks here towards the end. Maybe give him a fighting chance to make a personal milestone as the next delivery. He takes a step forward, catches it short. It's at the fielder. Oh, but he's not able to stop it from going through the boundary. So it was short hopped the fielder who was right along the rope.
That was an awful ball as a fielder. You see it here. It is hit with some force. Steps across, sees where it is, pulls it into the leg side. And this fielder, well, it bounced awkwardly to him, hit him, and then, of course, it just took the spin from him and went through the little gap in the gate. And 4 more runs and a no ball.
Short hopped him, hit him above the knees, wasn't able to quite keep it out. And you can see him now.
Think Justin's just holding the bowler? Yeah. Okay.
He was, the fielder there was doing something with his hands like a batter who missed the shot that he didn't quite make. The next delivery comes in. That's another big swing. It's up in the air. It's going, and it's gone there into the houses on the other side of Cyril's Way.
It's gone into the pickleball court house. Yep, they'll need another ball.
They have a pickleball court there?
Yep.
Really? Really?
Yeah, because it's not enclosed. It can't. It's not paddle. Paddle is enclosed.
Okay, well, either way,
it isn't.
That's an incredible shot from Harsh, who just turns on it and sends it going. But the thing is, you can tell pickleball the way it sounds. It's the most annoying sound in the world. it's like you took table tennis and you cranked the volume up to 11. It's a very hollow sound, and that is the thing. Oh, but it's like a wiffle ball but it's so loud, and everybody wants people to play sports, and everybody loves the social component of it, but the sound is incredibly annoying. Either way, we see some Sandyford fielders who are standing on the bench there looking over the old stone wall, looking to see if they can get the ball back. Maybe
And what are they going to do, whistle to it?
I don't know. Maybe there's someone in there who looks like they could help, but either way, I think a new ball is going to be required. I'd say if you are Harsh, you're enjoying this moment. Everybody loves hitting a ball so hard that it can't be found.
And it does take him to the brink of his half-century. At the moment, loads of people. Oh, there's a discussion going on. The captain of the Irish Test team is standing on the bench talking to somebody in the garden who's telling them,
if you throw the ball up, we can have it.
no, I think it might be more than that. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
That's a conversation for somebody else to
This
have,
is a
and it's
developing.
none of my business.
This is a developing situation. It's very fluid. We will report more facts when we have them, as it appears that a new ball has not been delivered. But rather a new umpire.
Yes, it looks like Andy Chase has had enough of sitting on the sideline.
Andy Chase looking very sharp in a lovely pair of gray shorts that are cut off just above the knee, and a tucked-in golf shirt that
Well,
really flatters his upper body silhouette.
This episode of Fashion TV has been brought to you by Maybelline.
Jaffa Cakes.
1:30 for 3 then. 3 overs still to go. A ball in the back garden. Plenty of people talking.
Yeah, clearly there's been some development there in the back garden of that house that will need to be resolved in some way that we cannot do at the moment. As the sun continues to stream down here, and yes, a new ball is being run out towards the crease. So now that we have located a new ball, it's just a matter of getting half of Sandyford's fielders back onto the field in order to be able to continue.
It looks like there's another button for you somewhere now.
Brightness, look at that.
Is that moving?
Yeah, it's going in the wrong... No, it's going up.
No, it's good.
Excellent. Now we're going to be able to see on our big, large... Yeah, I said earlier that we had a screen that was large but dim, which is really a bad combination,
No.
in general. But, well, maybe
What do
for...
you think?
Yeah, that's better. That's good. Absolutely better.
No, for
Out comes the half centurion to take over some umpiring duties. And a new ball's been delivered. And whatever happens on the other side of the fence will have to wait for another day, as we're 17 overs complete. Pembroke are 130 for 3. And you have to suspect just getting started.
Yep. They'll be looking for 150 here. 150 at the rate they're scoring at.
If
160 perhaps?
If you've just tuned in to this T20 contest, you've tuned in at exactly the right time, where you've got a set batter who is one away from a personal milestone, and Pembroke have 3 overs left and many wickets in the shed. So we have to imagine that there is going to be some willow swung around here in the next few overs, hopefully a little bit of entertainment for everybody at home. Here comes Rastogi to Naveen. That's floated up and driven down to the offside. It's picked up on the boundary in front of the clubhouse, and it's just going to be 1 run. So that's going to bring Harsh back on strike. Harsh takes a quick look around, bat on his shoulder, checking the field set for Rastogi, who spins the ball in his hands and prepares to deal. That's floated up, and that's very wisely tapped on the full, down the leg side, and that brings up the 50 for Harsh Chowdhury. Raise your bat towards the camera, please. There you go. Well done. Pat on the back from his partner Bhushan, who's out there umpiring. Great day out for these two guys. Great partnership and individual milestones and success for the team. That brings Naveen back on strike. He's cut that away. Fast run. It gets through the fielder in the ring. There's another fielder there. A little bit of football. He's able to stop it. And there were some people there. Yeah, I think we're going to have to... Yeah, that stayed in. So just the 2 off that. It made it through the ring fielder, but fortunately there was a bit of backup. Naveen wants to get in on the party. 4 off 6 deliveries, but you have to expect he's going to be swinging bigger now. Floated up again, tapped in the same direction. Fielder does a better job in the ring. He stops it, and it's just going to be the 1. The sun is beating down now. We're in a bit of space between the clouds. You can see it getting brighter on your screen. Harsh taps his bat and waits the next delivery. Rastogi floats it up. It's caught on the full, hit straight back towards him, who stops it before it hits the wicket, and a little dive back from Naveen for no run. Some smiles out there. You got to imagine Sandyford, their minds are bending ahead, thinking about their batting, what they're going to need to do. That's yoink down the leg side, but just for a very deep single by Harsh. So down on the leg side, boundary rider in the deep cow. And then field is quite deep on that leg side there. So after 18, 136 for 3.
2 overs to go, 136 on the board. That was a good over for Sandyford, just the 6 runs coming from it. And Pembroke, well, what will they be looking for now? They're certainly looking a lot healthier than they were.
I think at this point, with the 2 overs left, they'll be disappointed to not make 150. You know, you with 2 overs left in a T20, 3 wickets in the shed, you're going to want at least 150.
Current rate would suggest that they'll get up to 151 or 152 if they kept going at the run rate over the previous 18 overs.
Well, they should have 1 more over from one of the openers left.
Yep. And
yet another new bowler, Mr. Padam.
150 is going to be a good total to get if they get to that far. These 2 batsmen Chowdhury is set. He has his half century, and you know he's going to go after the bowling now, that's for sure. 2 overs to go.
So a bit of spin from Padam with a heavenly number of 777.
I'm sure there's a reason for that, rather than being a casino.
No, maybe he was an aviation fan. He likes a 777.
Could be.
His first delivery zips in. That's dragged down, and it's going to run away. No, it's picked up by the deep fielder. Yeah. So he likes kind of a narrow body jet, 1 aisle, 3 seats on either side. 1, 4, 1. Where do you think the emergency exits are in his favorite plane? Maybe the next bowler will be A320.
Well, could be A380.
Yeah, well, there's only so many companies that make the planes. It's a real global monopoly, but we'll talk about that during the drinks. So the first delivery from Padam goes for just 1 run as Naveen waits. And that catches him in the hands. A big appeal, but it looked like it was going to bounce higher than the stumps. But if it hit his hands anyway, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Hands are the bat.
Hands are the bat. You can't be LBW on your hands.
Yeah, but at this point, Sandyford really want a wicket. Padam's third delivery. Ooh, a bit of creativity. It attempted ramp, but it just goes straight through.
Again.
No attempted stumping.
I would say that probably...
Have you ever attempted a ramp in a game?
No, because I don't wear a helmet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a good reason not to.
I've lifted stuff over the slips before, but a ramp, no. I don't have a mask on. Then no, there's no way I'm going to put my face in the way of something I'm trying to hit.
Padam's fourth delivery is called a wide, so we'll get a bit of free cricket here in this 19th over. Give Naveen another delivery to look at here. That one's towards the stumps. That's cut. Oh, and it's
another drop catch, the third one of the day, and these have cost Sandyford. They've cost Sandyford dearly.
It was floated out to point, but not so hard that he couldn't get a hand to it. He got one hand up, he knocked it down, but wasn't able to catch it on the way down. I'd have to, I mean, he saved 3 runs. Fair enough. But he would want, takes a step forward, but is only able to get it down towards leg, and just for 1 run.
1 ball remaining, 7 in the innings. And Pembroke just 11 short of that 150 target that at one stage looked well out of reach. 17 for 2, I remind you, after 6 overs. 120 runs put on since then. Dot ball, big swing, head in the air. This is really had signs of this is the second to last over.
Yeah, that head wasn't looking anywhere near where the ball was. It came right out of the swing.
Good over for Sandyford, just the 4 runs coming from it. 3 runs off the bat and 1 off a wide.
You see the replay here. Naveen really wanted to send Padam. Oh, this was the
drop catch
here to point. Yeah, off the hand.
Got a hand to it, but couldn't collect it on the way down. And it slid to terra firma and safety as far as Naveen was concerned. 140 then for 3.
And again, will they make the 150, right?
It's still on. It is still on. Ganguly's come back for his 4th over. You liked how he bowled earlier on. His first 2 overs cost 4 runs. His 3rd over cost 9. Which Ganguly will we see for the 4th?
Yeah, well, but okay, so now it's interesting. Harsh is facing Ganguly now. He's the one who's seen him already. He was able to cast some sort of spell on Bhushan's bat earlier on in the innings, like Joe Boo in Major League. Bat was afraid.
Yes,
and we'll see what happens here now. Ganguly, Leonard Bernstein-like, kind of directing the violas over a little bit there and asking the timpani to give him a little bit more resonance, and he prepares to deliver.
Final over.
Harsh steps forward, lofts one in the air, fielder running over towards it, not able to get there, but he is able to keep it from crossing the boundary rope for just 1. Oh, and a quick second run to Harsh to get himself back on strike. A very costly fielding mistake that brings the set batter who's seen Ganguly already back on.
It was the bowler himself who fumbled the ball. Nobody backing up because there's so many guys on the boundary now. There are just 4 inside the ring, 5 outside. They are spread far and wide. Anything on the leg side should surely be 2. And again, this time the bowler does again misfields it, and that costs another run, and it isn't over yet. In fact, only the posterior of Harsh Chowdhury brings the ball to a stop somewhere close to the stumps. And that's 2 byes, and again, a bit of sloppy fielding.
But deep within that Benny Hill passage of play was some very smart running and calling from Harsh to get himself back on strike to face the batter he's seen already. Because it seemed like Harsh was willing to kind of let that bounce off his pads go by, but he was called through by Naveen, but he was able to get back on again after the misfield.
Super running between the 2 of them. Maybe a little bit chaotic. This time, spinner puts one through to the keeper. And again, I'd rather see the batsman coming forward and trying to strike the ball rather than going onto the back foot. If you're going to go onto the back foot, then maybe a back foot drive, but you're just limiting your power. Come into it. Take it on. Like that.
And that's what he does. Shot. He finds a gap, and that's going to go for 4. Oh, no. Are they? No. Yeah, the signal was
148
4.
up. Yeah. The 150 is on.
Yeah.
Chowdhury again. Well, he liked this one. Again, coming forward. I just feel there's so much better coming forward than this shuffling back, and there's no power there.
Yeah, he took your advice. The delivery was in the slot, and he just sent it exactly where you've seen it a million times on TV. A lovely stroke.
Now, they've sent a man straight back on the field. Long on is now right on the fence, and as a result, the off-field has had to come into the ring. If you can pierce the infield on the offside, they're now all sitting back on the ring. They're trying to save the boundaries more than anything else. It's hit long. That's why that fielder was put out there. But it's between them, and it gets away, and it reaches the fence. It's another 4. It's 150 up for Pembroke, and dare I say, let me just bring out the binoculars. Dare I say, Gordon Clark might even be smiling here.
You know, that's quite a performance that if you can make Captain Clark smile, that even with the extra fielder that was put out in that that boundary position wasn't able to get to the ball. The final delivery here from Ganguly. Lofted up. Big swing. It's off the edge. It goes straight backwards, and it's just going to be for the 1. So Pembroke will finish their day's work at 153 for the cost of 3 wickets. A incredible comeback by 2 batters after a calamitous start, and then even a slow start for those 2. So it was a slow start for the team with 2 early wickets and a slow start for the 2 partners, but they end up at 153 for 3.
Well, Harsh Chowdhury top scoring with 64. and he was joined by Bhushan Bavaskar, and between them, they really were the saviours of this. Let's have a look at the batting card at the end of the 20 overs. And you can see here, well, that early start that Charlie was talking about, 6 off 11, 4 off 7, and even Bavaskar was 1 off 12, but he powered on ahead later on. 57 he ended up on, and a partnership of 100 with Harsh Chowdhury, and then Harsh and Naveen took it through to the end, and they got Pembroke above 150, which, let's say, was not looking likely at one stage. Here is the bowling figures. Plenty of bowlers were used in the end. 8 bowlers used by Sandyford, and some of them did better than others. I'm surprised that Rao didn't get a 4th over. His first 3 only costing 14. And also Joseph left an over behind. He had 2 for 12 from his 3. So
I'm surprised to see the 2 opening bowlers with extra overs to spare at the end.
2 of the first 3 anyway, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Rao was the first change.
You've got to understand the middle 2 overs each, 20 overs, 28 runs and 23 runs from 2 overs. Not good enough. And you can see the fall of wickets there. A partnership of 114. Let's write that down. That's worth noting. Keeping a note of all these important things this year. 16 extras, probably a few too many, but some of them, there was 5 wides at one stage, and that always distorts that. 5 of those extras coming from 1 ball. Now, just to show you the worm, and that will really tell the story of this first innings, the early starts and the powering ahead of the partnership, and then the little tailing off at the end. But there you go. You can see just how easy the big partnership started.
Yeah, you see the slow start, and then how the worm has turned. If you were a tech startup in Silicon Valley, you'd be delighted with this hockey stick growth projection. You know, you can kind of see the 2 early wickets. You see that little trough there in the 8th over, and then boom, the nitroglycerin gets poured directly into the afterburner, and then off they were.
And then, of course, the chart you want to see, Charlie, the Manhattan.
Right, the Manhattan. So basically what this is looking like is a lovely cross-section of Manhattan from the south. You can see Hoboken and Jersey City off to the left, and it makes its way down to the Hudson River. You can see Hudson Yards there in the 7th over, and then boom, we're into Midtown all the way ourselves over to Turtle Hill, and then finally the UN building in the 20th over. So this Manhattan chart looks astonishingly like a cross-section of, I'd say, maybe 34th Street. For all of our international viewers. So you see that slow start, and then they start building.
Well, that is the story of the first innings. We will be back with you for the start of the second in what I suspect will be a few minutes' time. But until then, from myself and Charlie, we'll take a short break. welcome back. We're here for the second half of this T20 Intermediate Cup game between Pembroke and Sandyford. And one has to say that it's been a strange old game so far.
Well, it was a very slow start with a very exciting fast-paced finish. A very solid total. You might look, if you're tuning in now and you take a look at that 153, and you wonder how we got there. It was a slow start from Pembroke, 2 early wickets earned by Sandyford, and then...
They were very much on top in those first 6 overs.
Yeah, and then started the partnership of Bhushan and Harsh, who started quite slow, but certainly warmed up into it.
They did, didn't they?
And after a 8th over, when they were held scoreless, they then exploded for 16 and didn't look back. And between the two of them, put on a partnership of 100, and then both earning a half-century themselves individually, and that puts Pembroke here with 153 to defend.
Well, 153 would have been what Gordy Clark was looking for, a good competitive total. The pitch didn't play too badly. It was a nice one there. It's very green. And we've got Justin Doherty, the professor, who's warming up at the nursery end. And I think Andy Chase was the opening bowler last week in the big game, and he seems to be marking out his run-up.
I imagine we'll see the standard Clark opening twosome of Doherty will get his 4 and then be done. Typically, he likes to bowl his 4 and finish his work.
Eli Clark will be another one bowling, and Naveen, I suspect, will get overs. So there's 4 bowlers, and there's plenty of choice out there for Gordon Clark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a young fireballer in Aryan if he needs him, and he's also got additional options in some new members as well, who we will introduce you to as we go along. But we only saw 5 batters in the opening innings, so there'll be some new names for us to say out loud, hopefully, as the game goes on.
Yes, indeed. Gordon Clark, victorious last weekend. How he'd love to be victorious on the bank holiday weekend as well. Well, there's a lot more blue sky now.
Oh, there's a lot of blue sky. There's plenty of sun to go around on this bank holiday Sunday.
And let's see.
The bar is open. The wall is warm. And plenty of good seats still available, I think you would say. I don't know, maybe people on a bank holiday, many people on a bank holiday with the Sunday, they have Monday plans, or maybe they're away, or they're in various states of
disrepair.
Travel and engagement with life and family. As you see a beautiful wide picture here of Sydney Parade with the new addition to our view, this crane. Do we know what construction site that is? Because I don't know if you know this, that when I'm on the mic, there is a significant urban planning and development bent to the commentary. We're trying to figure out what that crane is. We can assume from the way
domestic. It's domestic. It's not big enough to be.
Well, we know from the way it's pointing that the wind is coming from the east. And we can also tell from the flag, but you can always tell with those cranes. Yeah, that could be the RDS, right? The new works that are being done over there, perhaps RDS-ish.
We've got a comment in from a Brendan Ferris.
Heard of him.
Who says he's enjoying the New York slant. I think you might want to put him right on that one, Charlie.
No. Well, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of Manhattan jokes, so that's okay. So there's some stirrings happening here. A couple of Sandyford opening batters getting some throwdowns. Looks like a start will be imminent. A couple of chats. It's one of those days where I think, if you're in the sun and you're wearing black, like the Pembroke fielders, you'll have a nice warm vibe, but it's a lovely day down here, and more sun is coming. We're really feeling it now, which is great.
You are?
Yeah. Well, I naturally run cold. I need the heat.
I do too.
Yeah, I need it.
T-shirt, shirt, hoodie, short sleeve.
You're a man of
and
many
you know,
layers.
I am.
Metaphorically and sartorially.
Sartorially, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am the onion.
Yes.
You can tell I'm not going for any quick one-night stands and stripping down to nothing in no time. Excuse me, I'll be with you in 20 minutes. And that's not counting the girdle, of course. Anyway, 154 Sandyford will be looking for, and anything less than 153 Pembroke will be happy with. So let's see how we go. The batsmen are striding out to the middle. Live scorer, I'm sure, will be updating the graphics on your screen very shortly.
Sandyford in their kind of sky blue and dark navy bottoms. Pembroke in their traditional black and red. The fire and blood, the colors of the dragon.
Colours of the foxes.
Yeah.
No, you never see a black fox, do you?
Do they exist?
I don't think so.
No? Well, the foxes are... Anybody who's spent some time in this part of Dublin knows that the foxes run the place. We just live here. And you see them at night, and they do that thing where they turn their body to the side, and then they turn their head, and then they scurry off.
Well, I can tell you that we've been given the answer to your crane question.
Okay.
It is the new houses on the Merrion Road, just opposite the British Embassy.
Yes. Okay. Oh, yeah, the niche living. Yeah, I think I know what that site is. Yeah, so
there you go.
if you like a small apartment with no kitchen, and you really are curious as to how that gets planning permission in this day and age, but that's for another broadcast.
Yeah, that's for your podcast, I think, Charlie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the Professor Justin Doherty takes his final warm-up tosses. It looks like we're about to get underway. I need Graham. I need to do that one with Graham. We can really get into the.
Oh, absolutely.
The planning permission.
It'll be an hour long. Many thanks to Ed of Ed Sports down in Pembroke Wanderers Hockey Club, where his shop is. He's obviously working away on a Sunday and tuning in here to the fourth 11 against Sandyford in the Intermediate Cup T20 competition. And Pembroke, having batted first, have set Sandyford a target of 154 from 20 overs.
Looks like we're ready to get underway. First delivery from Doherty is waved at by Mr. Khurana for a dot.
Khurana not really moving his feet. So that first delivery.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just early season. We saw that from some early players for Pembroke as well, taking some time to get those feet moving as Justin steams in for his second. Again, that one's through. Big swing and a miss. Batter left his crease. Harsh.
Well,
Chowdhury, who the half centurion in the first innings, gave a little toss towards the stumps. Missed.
He's got to be feeling in a good mood.
Absolutely, under his big floppy hat. That'll give you an indication from these shadows of what's going on down here. Very sunny as Justin steams in. His third delivery again, waved at, and another miss.
Another dot ball.
Clean start from Doherty.
It's just his consistency, his line and length, absolutely spot on. He's trying to drag that batsman forwards.
There are many reasons why he's called the Professor. One of them is the sweet science of bowling. Here comes his fourth delivery. That's Fuller. That's tapped away to the covers, and it's well cleanly fielded within the circle for no run.
Another dot ball. An impressive start from Doherty. Just the start that Pembroke would have been looking for.
Yeah, get some early pressure.
Well, great to see our viewers today all over the place. Yeah, McElwain tuning in from what I suspect is the Middle East. Batsman coming down the track in a desperate attack, a bit of frustration setting in. He'd faced 4 dot balls. He was determined to get off the mark, and he has managed that just by gloving one down on the leg side and taking a single.
And that'll bring his partner, Mr. Palayan, on to face his first delivery from Mr. Doherty, or Professor Doherty, excuse me, Professor Dr. Doherty, PhD. Bit of the marking of the feet. Can't trust someone else's groove. Have to make your own.
Oh, absolutely. Doesn't matter how deep it goes.
Maybe it's a bit of muscle memory. It's just your own repetition, your tradition as you step in, as Doherty steams in for his fifth delivery, and that's going to be waved off.
The batsman stepping out of the box.
Do I remember right? You police caution tape or something?
I can get some. I don't have it at home.
Try it all again. Doherty's fifth. Again, not much foot movement, bit of a wave, and it's straight through. And that'll wrap up the over. Just 1 run off it. Good start for Justin. Gets a big high five from his teammate Jordeep Roy. You see Eli Clark rubbing it against his right thigh. So I wonder if that means he's going to be handing off the ball.
Andy Chase.
To Andy Chase.
Andy Chase making the breakthrough to the 4th 11 this season.
Andy Chase, the vigorous, burly South African, who we already established earlier, looks great in a pair of gray shorts cut off just above the knee and a tucked-in golf shirt. Here the shirt's not tucked in. Looks a little loose. I think he could tuck that in, look really sharp. As he adjusts the feel, Captain Clark looks like, maybe you should try a longer sleeve next time, or, oh yeah, a few adjustments, maybe a belt next time, some adjustments to the hemline. Candlesticks make for a nice gift, I'm told. Looks like Chase has things where he wants them.
We need a live chicken.
A live chicken. Clark strides back towards the covers. No, sorry. Where is he? What is that? That's point? I don't know. I'll learn these positions eventually. It's too hard. It's too many positions. Either way, Karana's back on strike here to face Andy Chase, who is off camera as he steams in. First delivery is called a wide.
Well, a bit of a loosener there from Chase. Let's hope he doesn't try and overcompensate now and go too far the other side.
One has to wonder if the tucked-in shirt or the loosened shirt is playing a factor.
Well, could be. Could be the aerodynamics.
It's still early.
Adrian knew he would be going nuts with that sort of drag on the body. Perhaps the Silver Foxes will invest in skin tight next year.
One can hope. Chase's second delivery is...
It's more likely to be spandex, but there you go.
It's fielded at the edge of the ring by the boundary rider who comes in on the offside, and it's just going to be 1 run.
And Naveen it is, who is that boundary rider. He's making that roll his own. He does enjoy trotting up and down inside the fence on Cyril's way. Personally, I think it's because if he misses it, he doesn't have to go too far to fetch it.
It's a valuable place to have the fence behind you, absolutely. Although I do like that position as well, because if you do make a dive, you get credit from the fans, even whether you stop the ball or not.
Yeah, the crowd interaction is great in front of the bar.
Chase steams in. That one's a bit wider, but that's poked out to point, but tidied up. Slight overthrow, but no one's taking an extra run.
No liberties to be taken here. Just the second over. It's going to be a long way to go. And despite Pembroke's slow start, one has to say, Sandyford even slower.
Well, that's okay. We know how fast things can pick up.
They do change quickly in T20.
Next delivery from Chase is through to the keeper for no run. Bit of quiet out there as keeper Chowdhury slaps his gloved hands together. Not a ton of chatter, but the heat is really lovely. If you're able, you should come on down and catch the end of this contest. As Chase steams in, that's a fuller delivery. It's off the edge, just runs down to third for a quick trot through for 1.
Well, Arian it is doing the fielding down there. Keeps it to a single. Another good over for Pembroke. 4 have come from it, but when the required rate started at over, well, I think it was 7.56. So, a bit of work to be done by Sandyford, but as you say, a long way to go.
We had a question about the fielding restrictions here. There's 3 men out, so it's not exactly as stingy as 2 in a power play. That one's caught on the full and driven down the offside for just 1 run.
Chase will be delighted. A couple of dot balls. Finding his rhythm now.
Yeah, after the 1 loosener for the wide, he's being quite stingy. That one's angling in towards the pads. It's clipped off the legs, but there is a fielder just on the boundary rope. That's Justin Doherty who brings it in.
The professor, again, another person who's made a position his own. He does like fielding in front of the dressing rooms, down at that end of the ground. And now he'll bring his body into the wicket, and he will bowl the third over. The score after 2 then, 6 without loss for Sandyford. They haven't hit their straps yet, but they're slowly but surely, I'm sure they will try to. Will they try and take Doherty on in this, his second over?
I think at this point in the season, I don't think you're going to see a giant start from anybody.
Some people come out just full on. And,
okay,
and
they come out
off,
swinging.
It comes off, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's just the way they bat all the time. And especially T20. The pressure of 3-dot balls really does make batsmen do the strangest of things in T20.
Another wider delivery. It's called a wide. Doherty implores the umpire. Maybe that was a little bit closer to the blue line than he thought, but either way, waved at, but not connected. Doherty has a studied intensity if you've played with him. Mild-mannered off the pitch, but on the other side of the rope, he's all business. Delivers again. That's caught and lofted in the air. There's a fielder running after it, but it looks like that's going to carry and that's going to take the rope, and that's 6.
And there you go. That's how quickly things can change. Just got on to Doherty on that occasion, came forward to him, lifted him into the leg side. Oh, it went all the way down just to the side of Con's nook. Con O'Rourke, of course, who was such a big part of this club for so many years, father of Breen O'Rourke. Doherty in again. This time the batsman spots the different length. There was no opportunity to do the same again there. It would have been playing into the bowler's hands, and he just played that one back to Doherty, and probably a wise decision.
Yeah, good response by Doherty. We'll see how this game within the game plays out, this mental competition over the next 4 deliveries. Doherty steams in for his next.
That one's going to be signalled wide.
Yeah, and no objection from Doherty there. That did look wide even from here.
You could tell as he released the ball, he knew it wasn't the right one. Muscle memory.
So as the professor does the tighten up here, the batter will tap his bat and wait. Palayan is a large man. There's a lot of power waiting, and he took a whiff there. Good length from Doherty. Palayan wasn't able to get any bat on it.
14 without loss, chasing that total of 154 for victory. 140 required then from 17 and a half overs.
You're good with the math.
If it's adding or dividing or multiplying or the other one, I'm okay. However, once you introduce X, then I fall apart.
So after the 6 and that wide, Doherty has indeed done the tighten up, 2 dots in a row. 2 more deliveries to come in this over. We'll see what happens from here. Palayan taps 3 times and waits. He drives that down the offside. Naveen comes in, stops it, and for just the 1 run.
And again, Doherty won't mind the singles. It's those big blows that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
We are still in the power play. 3 outside. Oh, there's the edge. Doherty enticing the big shot. Batsman went for it, got an edge, but it wasn't enough to carry through to the keeper, and they managed to get through for a single as well. 3 overs gone, 16 on the board. In comparison, Pembroke were 12 for 1 at this stage. So Sandyford, after that over, will feel their noses are in front, but they've yet to match Pembroke's best overs, which certainly were in the middle from 10 onwards, really.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk again after 10, but then really it's when the acceleration. So you know, after the 10th over, Pembroke were 59 for 2, and after the 15th, they were 114 for 2. So that'll give you a sense of the acceleration that happened, and we'll see what Sandyford can do in reply.
Chase again to continue then from the St John's end. Doherty's 2 overs have cost 11, and well, the first one only cost 1. 10 coming from this over. Chase will be hoping that his figures, if anything, remain similar to what they are now. He had a good first over. A little bit of trouble with line and length.
The conversation is over. Chase is ready. Now he's below the bottom of your screen. You'll see him kind of running in. He's got quite a long run up. Here he comes and deals. That's angling in towards the legs, and that's clipped off, and it looks like, oh, it's saved on the boundary by Naveen. A great play, one-handed. He came all the way over. I'd say he made about 20 or 25 meters. Made it fast enough, didn't have to dive. But it was
one-handed pickup.
It was
as well.
well placed in a one-handed pickup, and saved 2 runs.
Decent ball from Chase.
Yeah, good ball. It was well struck.
He's desperate not to give too much width to these. And he's given him. It's edge behind, and Chase picks up a wicket. And again, the Silver Foxes amongst you will celebrate with him. Nice wicket, nice line and length, and just drew the edge from the batsman.
That was a good take from behind by Harsh Chowdhury, the keeper. Great wicket. Happy days, celebrations here in the center of the pitch. And Pembroke have taken their first blood wicket-wise.
Well, I see this even better on the replay screen. Such a good camera angle, that one from Niall. And there we go, just edge through the slices of edges. Chase knew immediately, and so did the umpire. And the batsman was on his way. And here we are, back with the live pictures. 18 for 1 in the pursuit of 154. Pembroke will be delighted with that, picking up that wicket. Again, it's important to pick up early wickets. If you can pick up 1 or 2 in the power play, you know it's going to be a big assistance to you later on.
Yeah, and it's just going to pile on the pressure later on. You know, for those top order batters who, you know, after maybe a frustrating period in the field want to get out and make an impact, it's very hard to have to head back to the dressing room a little bit earlier than you intended. That'll bring out Sandyford's next. Plyan, the off-strike batter, is a big man, and you can see on his bat it says Vampire. I haven't seen that. I've seen lots of things written on bats. Vampire.
Perhaps he's...
That's not messing around. The new batter is Rao, who was a solid bowling performance in the first innings. He catches the edge and dribbles back behind him and is collected along the boundary, and it's just for 1 run. And that'll bring up the Vampire.
Perhaps the Vampire only works properly at night.
Well, we can't do that here. He's in the wrong country.
Absolutely.
There's just no night cricket here.
Yet.
Now we have to wonder, like, how will the Vampire do in this bright sun?
Will he wilt?
Well, he's already got 1-6. He had a good solid strike against Justin. Let's see him against Andy Chase here. We've got a fielder in front of us along the boundary rope anticipating another big shot. He nibbles at that one. It's just dribbled away. Buckle up, folks, for lots of biting and vampire jokes and metaphors to come. Didn't quite draw blood from that.
Red and black certainly fits.
Yeah, red and black. And bats, different kinds of bats. Well, we're just getting started. Chase's 5th delivery. That's driven right back to him. It's off his hands. It dribbles through, but he did stop it. 3 fielders converge. So Chase's efforts did slow it down and held it to 1, but it was well struck. Good sound off the bat. And you can see him there, number 14. He's a big man leaning on that Vampire. You can see he wants to stick around and make an impact. He looks like somebody who came to play. And Rao awaits Chase's final delivery. Oh, and it's called a wide, so we will get a little bit of free cricket in this over. Big size disparity between these two partners. Rao will be the junior partner no matter how many runs he scores. Such is the size of Plyan. The Vampire in his hands. We've talked about Wonder Boy before. We've talked about that before. It's nice to name a bat. And then make it visible from here. That one's angling in towards the legs. Everybody's running towards it, down towards third, but it's only going to be 1 run. Kind of caught the edge of that and tweaked it around the corner.
Quite deliberately ran it down to third. He's retaining the strike. It's the end of 4 overs. The score now, with the fall of the wicket and that over, is 22 for 1.
22 for 1. So if we were to call up the worm, which is probably a little too early, you're going to see how you're going to see a really funny, lumpy thing where they're going to be ahead now.
Yeah.
But then you're going to see that up and to the right kind of tech startup hockey stick chart. But we'll see if, Sandyford can very easily kind of chase this in a slower and steadier kind of way.
Yeah,
they can
use all 20 overs.
Yes, correct.
Scoring at 7.5 and over, as opposed to sort of having to score at 12 and over for these overs and 3 and over for those overs. If they could score consistently, then yes. But again, Pembroke will be doing their best not only to limit the number of runs being conceded, but take some wickets as well. That one's played up in the air. Naveen is on the boundary, and this time his hands let him down. It goes through for 4.
And that was solidly struck by Rao, who took a nice, lovely, kind of got on top of it and was able to hit it down. Good sound off the bat, good contact. Naveen was in the right place at the right time, but he was just let down by his hands a little bit after making a really good stop earlier. Don't know if it took a funny hop, but those can be hard. Rao taps in and awaits the second delivery from Doherty. Steps at it, but doesn't offer at it, and that'll be a dot. At least he's moving his feet even when he's not swinging.
Yeah.
Which is what you should be doing.
And that's exactly right.
I'm told.
I often say to people who are just taking up the game, who aren't moving their feet, have you ever played tennis? Well, imagine you have to go and chase the ball to make it easier to hit. And that's what you do in cricket. You get yourself to where the ball is.
Doherty's third is tapped into space, and they can scamper for a quick 1. That'll bring the Vampire back on strike. Mr. Palayan. I think he's going to be excited to see Justin again here. I think he would have liked the shape of that big 6 he hit, and he'll want to do that again.
Luke Balboni, it is, calling for his father to pick him up in your headphones. Good ball from Justin Doherty, right up in the batsman's feet. Beautiful length and causing problems when they get through for a single.
That was a smart move by Justin. He Yorkered the guy.
Yeah.
Didn't let him free his arms. Vampire had to stay in the casket that time. Wasn't able to come out for a flight. Again, it goes with the Yorker, but that's dug out and struck down to the offside. Gets past the first fielder, but there's a deeper one there who rolls it back in. Oh, they're running for a second, and it looks like they're going to make it. So they were going 2 all the way.
That, to me, is worse than an overthrow. An underthrow.
Slow roller, an underthrow.
Underthrow, letting the batsman get through for a second.
Well, I know that there's maybe some shoulder niggles that prevent some of those deep fielders from...
Well, that's Aryan down there.
Yeah. Is that? No, I think that's Bhushan. Aryan's right here. That one's clipped away straight to Captain Clark and held for no run.
Well, if you can't throw from down there, should he be fielding down there?
I think that's a very fair question. That's a very fair question. Well, that question will just have to linger as we finish the 5th over 30 for 1. Here we can see a replay of something.
What would you like, Charlie? Would you like the Manhattan, or would you like the...
I would say
the worm.
Let's look at the worm. I think the worm will be interesting because we'll be able to talk about the slow start versus the solid start.
And there you see it.
Right. So you really get a sense from the worm, the very slow start from Pembroke, almost perfectly horizontal there for quite a while. And, Sandyford starting to take flight with just the 1 wicket in between it.
Well, there's going to be a change of bowling. No, there isn't. Andy Chase is coming on again. He's going to bowl his 3rd.
So Chase will take on Palayan. The big number 14. Vampire in his hands. Digs in. Big swing at that one. Cuts it away. It's past the ring. It's going to keep going. There's a deep fielder. I don't know if they'll get there. Big slide.
No.
And no.
Ball makes it to the rope. 4 runs. And not the start to the over that Chase was looking for.
Well, the boundary rider was devoted, but it wasn't able to stop the ball. You can see the replay here, hand swipe, but the hand swipe led it straight into the knee, and it made it over the rope nevertheless.
Good effort all the same.
Yep, and this slow and steady progress from Sandyford continues. Keep the scoreboard ticking over as Chase steams in for his next.
Oh, that's lifted nicely into the leg side. 6 runs. And suddenly the Sandyford batsmen have decided, well, we've seen enough.
That was well spotted by Palayan early on. He caught the length, he waited, and like a cobra, he pounced. I'm not mixing my metaphors, maybe like a snake bite kind of thing. There's no vampire snake, is there?
No.
Yeah, okay. That'd be too scary. Yeah.
Yeah, because bloke wearing a cape and with sharp teeth isn't scary enough.
Yep.
Just played into the offside, dot ball on this occasion. He's already taken 10 off the first 2 balls.
Yeah.
And now he's looking for either a flat cap, he's waving goodbye to somebody at the airport, or perhaps he wants a drink. He's only been out there for, this is the 6th over.
So Chase is walking back to his mark, fully aware of the 10 he's already given up off 3 deliveries. Trying to think through what he wants to do next as he steams in. Big swing and a miss there from the Vampire. Not quite able to connect with the neck of the ball. And just for a dot. I mean, I guess the bat could have a neck, but then, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
It does.
All right.
Shoulder, really.
Once the power play ends, I'm going to give it up. Two more deliveries. I'll give up the ghost. The ghost?
Oh.
Okay. One more from Chase here. And that's, again, just run to the offside. Quick single taken. And that'll bring Rao back on strike.
Ian McElwain down in Saudi Arabia. And FR1 Falcon saying hi, Charlie. I don't know who that is. Oh, I think it's a name we've seen before. Chase with 1 ball left in this, his 3rd over. Again, played away on the offside. This time, no run taken. Eli Clark is the one who throws himself to his knees, puts his body behind it, and stops it. And after 6 overs, well, 41 for 1.
Yeah, and that the damage is accelerating over by over. So the 5th over went for 8, and this over's gone for 11. And
Expensive little time. I think that you might find that Gordy Clark will make some changes. Justin Doherty will continue.
I think that's right. That's stick with what your thoroughbred is used to in terms of his work rate.
Well, again, it's a matter of, do you get the best out of him by just letting him bowl his 4 and being in his groove and consistent, or do you try and keep an over to bring him back later on? And I think you're right. I think certainly with Justin, I think he's better off bowling through, especially in a T20. It may be that Clark will hold back an over from his speedster Chase.
Palayan digs in, 22 off 17. Justin steams in for his first delivery. That one's cut away to the offside, and it's just going to be a quick single. Not really cut away, kind of half driven. Back foot drive.
There you go.
Punch.
Oh, I like that. Yes, yeah, I like that.
Punched.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Didn't quite get all of it, though. It was kind of a hollowy sound off the bat. Didn't sound pretty, but it got the job done and rotated the strike. It'll bring Rao on, who stares down Justin. He steps forward and drives it past the diving cover fielder, but there is some help along the boundary there.
Again, Naveen with the one-handed pickup, covering for Ariane. Not getting down to that one.
Yeah, that was well placed. I mean, Arian had to move to his left, and I don't know. It's not like a dive was guaranteed to stop it. He did get down to it, but just wasn't able to get to it. It was a good job by the batter. Here comes Palayan. Another big swing. That's high up in the air, but it looks playable, but it's over the head of the fielder and it drops to the ground, and that's going to go for 6. It's one of those ones where it was so high, but you didn't know how far it was, but obviously it was far enough. I don't think Chase should feel too bad about his effort there. I think that probably was well above his hands.
I mean, you know, he knew where the rope was, and he was right. I can go no further back than this, and he just left him with too much to do.
And the Vampire takes another bite of Doherty just once this over. Draws blood in this over from Doherty. A big 6. That was a good delivery there from Justin in response. For a back foot block. You can see there's high lifted in the air. And we're going to see Chase try to chase this one down. Don't get a sense of how deep he is. And he backs up to the rope. Oh, it was over. Yeah, I don't think it would have taken a real Herculean play to knock it back in. Final ball of the over is slower. It's pulled around the corner, but stopped by Eli Clark. Saves 3 runs there.
Oh, that was a fine bit of feeling by Clark round the corner there, doing absolutely what was needed and getting the round of applause from his teammates and those who have come down to watch this game. Many thanks to the 36 devices, 36 of you watching this 4th 11 fixture against Sandyford.
And that'll bring the 6th over to its conclusion. Sandyford are 51 for 1. And again, if you compare where they were at this point, Pembroke were 29 for 2. Now, we know that was before the, for fans of the Fast and the Furious, that's before the NOS got dumped into the fuel pipe. Everybody knows NOS is just movie magic. That's how you zoom and you win the race. But 51 runs off 7 overs. Sandyford will be very happy with how they are kind of brick by brick building this response in a steady way.
Well, funny you should say brick by brick.
And that brings us back to the Manhattan. Right, okay, all right, this is very handy.
A bit of building been going on in New Jersey.
Yeah. It's as if New Jersey were the financial center. Although, you know, there has been a lot of construction in New Jersey lately. Right, anyway, the point here is that Sandyford has had a much more successful early overs than Pembroke did, but we all know.
Over 8 was sort of the nadir of the Pembroke innings. It was a maiden.
Yeah. In the 34th Street cross-section, that was kind of the Penn Station,
I thought you had it
Madison Square Garden kind of gap in it.
I thought you had it down as the East River.
No. It wasn't a perfect analogy. Well, anyway, that brings a new bowler on, Joydeep Roy, and we'll get to enjoy his unorthodox kind of curly cue run-up here as he delivers his first, and that'll be called a wide.
It's called a wide here. Certainly called a wide in the middle. Yes.
Joydeep's run-up makes the batter wonder, am I standing in the right place? Here comes his second, better delivery. That's offered out and missed.
It's a hustle.
A hustle. I like that.
You know,
it's like in the movies, you know, when you're running away from a sniper, you're supposed to run in like an S pattern.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like he's worried someone's going to shoot at him. Third delivery from Roy. That's offered at. He gives up the body, but there's no run because he's got 2 fielders behind him. So pretty good start from Roy after the opening wide. He's earned himself 2 dots. If he keeps staying in that area around 4th and a half to 5th and a half stump, he'll be working to get that edge and denying them the ability to kind of lift anything big.
There's a bigger shot. It beats the fielder in the infield, and it will run away to the boundary. And Sandyford, well, they're starting to make this 153 chase look kind of handy. Less than 100 needed now. Their run rate is at 7.47.
Yeah, Rao looked like he keyed in on that area. He was waiting for it, and he got a length that was a bit more favorable to drive.
And he did, and it brought him the reward he was looking for. 56 for 1. Pembroke need to break this partnership and break it soon. These two came together with the score on 18, and in double quick time, they've got the Sandyford score past the half century.
Joy's response is pull deep, deep, and it's going to hit bounce once and then go for 4 way out here in Cow Corner.
Down to the car park gate at the end of Cyril, the beginning of Cyril's Way. And this is how it got there. It's just a little bit too short. The batsman went back on it and pulled it into the leg side and did so, well, with almost spot on direction.
Yeah, just that tiny little step back, put his weight onto his back hip, and then uncorked.
Well, 60 for 1.
Joy's next delivery is poked away. That's going to be stopped in the infield for no run. Oh, no, they're going to take the run after a bit of a bobble, and they'll run through for the single. Just a quick scamper there will bring Mr. Palayan back on, although Rao, the physically junior partner, is catching up.
Well, they're both sort of scoring at 150, or 130.
Well, they're both over 100, you know, and that's the basic math.
Yeah. Oh, swing and a miss on this occasion, and that's the end of the over. 10 runs coming from it, though. Worrying from a Pembroke point of view. The score has moved on to 61 for 1 after 8 overs.
Yeah, and it's the last few overs, I'd say, that'd be most worrying to Captain Clark, that these guys are looking more settled, and their average runs scored per over is increasing. The height of those towers is growing. As we take a look at the worm,
you can see the big difference between the two sides there after 8 overs. Well, they're more than double the score that Pembroke were. Pembroke 29 for 2, and Sandyford now 61 for 1.
Yeah.
This match back and forth all day, and it's continuing now as well.
So this is a partnership that needs to be broken if that worm is going to be bent meaningfully down. Oh, yeah. And that'll bring on our next bowler, who looks to be Eli Clark.
Eli turning into quite the all-rounder now. Coming on, second change, coming on at the nursery end. And you may find, actually, that he's a bit skiddier than some of the other bowlers, and may cause, well, will certainly pose different questions.
Yeah, the arm angle and the angle of attack will be different as he runs towards us for his first delivery.
And that's it. Exactly right. Good line, good length. The batsman, well, he was looking to be positive, but realised very quickly not to this delivery.
Yeah, when that stays low, it's going to present problems, you know, kind of lifting the ball up or getting the power that you want to keep scoring at the rate that you were accustomed to in the last few overs, as Clark steams in for his second. Offered at.
Oh, batsman unsure about that one. Just sort of showed the edge of the bat to the ball and then pulled it away.
Yeah, some groans from the Pembroke fielders, a bit of shabash, shabash, a bit of encouragement, looking for a bowler to try to make a bit of magic, a bit of a breakthrough here. Clark walks back to his mark and prepares to deliver his third.
This time it's played away on the leg side. Gordon Clark looking after the family figures.
And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon.
Oh, you'll get copyright claims all over this video, you will.
Father and son playing together. It's a lovely thing to see. Just as lovely as Clark's 3 dots to start his spell. That one's a bit wider. It's cut away. There's a fielder there who gets a foot on it, and they're coming back for the second. It's a big, hard throw, but offline. They're not able to get anyone, so that's 2 runs for Sandyford. Roy made the stop, saved the runs, but was not able to get enough on it to try to affect a run out.
Again, a man fielding on the boundary without a big throw.
As a chilly wind blows,
it has, hasn't it?
blows through Sydney Parade, the cloud cover is back.
This one played away on the offside, and a couple of fielders down there. They'll get through for the single. Clark won't mind a single. 3 off the over so far. Just
yeah.
1 delivery left.
And he's been stingy, and if he can keep that stinginess up here, that'll go a long way towards turning that worm.
Yep. Turn that frown upside down. Will turn that smile upside down, really, isn't it?
See, is Clark a Van Helsing? Is he a vampire hunter with a wooden stake in his bag?
You promised. Clark in. Ball just played away, down short third. There is a fielder there. He gets it back in nice and quickly. Can't prevent the single.
So good over. You know, hopefully the start of a positive trend. Just 4 runs off it after averaging 10, 11 the past 3 or 4 overs. So able to push back a little bit. And let's see if Pembroke can keep that going. So let's see what Clark does here now. Roy, who went for 10 in his last over, looks like he's coming back.
Well, the gap between the two sides at the end of 8 overs, Sandyford were 32 runs ahead. But because of what a good over the 9th over was for Pembroke, that gap's now down to, well, that lead by Sandyford's down to 19. And part of that's down, of course, to Clark's bowling. Just the 4 runs coming from that over.
Some deep fielders being adjusted here in front of our broadcasting position as Joydeep takes a look around the field, makes some adjustments. Batter looks over his shoulder, maybe asking for a little bit of water in the next overs break, although the heat has gone out of it.
Hot soup, maybe.
Yeah,
hot whiskey.
Yeah,
Hot whiskey.
hands are firmly tucked into pockets over here as we're sitting here under the covers as Joydeep resumes.
Well, that's too short. It's wide on the offside. It's slashed at, and it just runs down to third. The batsman sort of, his eyes got too big there. Ooh! And it wasn't to be. Just slipped away to third. 1 run taken.
Yeah, he had coverage there for that eventuality. But, you know, you could see the intent. You know, they're hungry to see him again.
This, the 10th over. The end of this will be halfway through the chase. Another one slashed away on the offside, and this one's going to run away to the fence down at the Wheelfield Road gate, and it crashes into the CJK advertising, and that brings us up 70. Now remember, at the halfway mark, Pembroke had reached 59 for 2, and already far ahead of that, Sandyford.
So Rao and Palayan watched Harsh and Bhushan put on a partnership of 100 in the first innings. They're well on their way, more than halfway there, to say...
I would say they're about 20 deliveries ahead at the moment. Another one played through the offside, another one running away for 4. If he's not got a boundary rider out there, where are his boundary riders? He's 2 on the leg side for that short ball. But the short ball's a bad ball, and he's set a field for bad bowling here, I feel.
Captain Clark making a few adjustments here, maybe hearing your point of view. The ball is fetched from deep, deep, deep in the rugby area and back into Joydeep's hands. 3 deliveries, 9 runs. He'll be thinking long and hard about what he wants to do next. And there's a bit of deep coverage that's been now put out there for him.
Another one played away on the offside. Chases after it. He can't get there, and that's a 3rd consecutive boundary. And Joydeep, well, is he bowling the wrong line?
Yeah, and even with that fielder that was put out there for just that eventuality, the ball was so solidly struck that the fielder in that position was not able to get over and cover it. Tough over here for Pembroke after a tidy one from Eli Clark in the 9th. Definitely seeing some adjustments in the 12th, I imagine.
Well, it shows what a good wicket this has been in how few wickets have fallen today. We've only seen the 4 wickets so far in 29 and a half overs. This one just tucked out on the leg side. They'll take a single.
No one in the ring here on that side. You know, two boundary riders had to charge in to come collect it, but these Sandyford batters are in no hurry. I mean, there's no need to run that 2 at that point. They're both seeing
well
the ball
ahead.
well, and they're both striking well. 32 off 24, 36 off 24.
Well ahead of the required rate, that's for sure. This one, nearly getting through by the inside edge. It's the first dot ball, and it's the one that ends the over. 10 gone, we're halfway there. 79 for one. Means they're 20 runs ahead of where Pembroke were at the same stage.
Now this is when, okay, Clark's returning. Do you remember the 1989 Morgan Freeman classic, Lean on Me, where he plays the principal of a really struggling inner city school?
I think I have seen it.
He locks the doors, Mr. Clark. He locks the doors to keep the bad guys out of the school. And that's what they need from this Mr. Clark here. They need to lock the doors to keep him out.
Well, Joy Deep Roy, 2 overs have cost 24 runs. There'll be a question as to whether we see him again.
It's a good Morgan Freeman performance, a young Morgan Freeman. You know,
is there such a thing as a young?
Yes, it was before he, became the dignified. Please, we need him to read a poem at our sporting event, Morgan Freeman.
Nelson Mandela and God.
A young, energetic Morgan Freeman. As Clark steams in.
Good ball, play back towards him.
He's got that off stump on radar lock, and with that low arm angle, just zipping it right at it. It looks very threatening, and from this camera angle where he's bowling towards us, it actually gives our viewers a really good perspective on what it's like to face a low, zippy, skippy delivery.
Well, that one gets past everybody, slides down the leg side. It will make it to the fence, and that's a shame. Those are runs that Pembroke can ill afford to give away.
Was that a pass ball? No, that's a baseball term. Was it buys?
Yeah.
Yeah, buys.
I think it was buys.
Yeah, I missed the signal.
Oh, no.
No, was it off the bat?
Signal was as runs.
No.
Or not signalled as something else, therefore the scorer has assumed it's runs.
Well, I think it's a favourable call, but
well,
the runs matter. The runs are what matters.
Harsh on the bowler.
Clark makes a couple adjustments. He's sending a man to the deep. This over is poised. 2 deliveries, 1.14. Let's see what happens. That's driven down to the leg side, just in the exact place where Clark had sent the man deeper, but it still would have been a signal no matter what.
And they got their run.
This brings back Palayan, who's now been eclipsed by his junior partner, who's now the senior partner, despite being junior in stature. Palayan, the big man with number 14 on his back, with Vampire in his hands as Clark steams in.
I'm expecting a big shot from the man here.
The prognostication is not...
Don't get it. Well, certainly not at James Cresswell levels, that's for sure. But I just get the feeling that he hasn't faced for a while. His partner's been taking a lot of the strike, and I think he's going to feel that he needs to get going.
That's okay. That's okay, though. Well, we'll see if he takes a big cut here. Again, he just seems content to take that single down to the offside and get his partner back on strike. Some smart batting here from Sandyford, continuing their kind of methodical. I wouldn't call it slow.
No.
They're scoring runs at the rate that they need, but they're going bird by bird.
Yep.
On this, as opposed to the Pembroke route, which was more feast or famine.
They're certainly batting, I think, with a lot more thought and control than Finglas did last week against the fourths, where the fourths bowling was tight enough to cause the downfall of wickets. Another one just pushed out to the leg side. The bowler's almost going to have to fetch it himself.
And just 1 run off it.
Coast Guard. It's big enough for Coast Guard.
I see a bit of orange as a helicopter seems to be coming towards Dublin Bay, directly over Sydney Parade.
There you go. Niall has it on the screen.
Yeah. Nothing beats, though, that Aer Lingus flyover there from last year.
Oh, yeah, for the
college football.
Yeah. When do they have NFL?
What are they going to do, 2 planes?
As that helicopter heads off, and we wish it well, and anybody who has to fly in it.
So on the day of that flyover, I was not here. I was on Killiney Hill, listening to the game, listening to the broadcast. And I saw this plane come in so low over that, that airport kind of plane antenna at the top of Kalani Hill. I'm like, that's very low. And then the penny dropped, and I said, oh, I wonder if, and then y'all started talking about it. That thing came in and banked.
Yeah, it was impressive.
That was some. Yeah. For those who listened to the first innings, that would have been an Airbus A320 as opposed to the 777 on the back of one of the Sandyford players. We've covered a lot of topics here today. General aviation. Well, Ireland is an aviation hub.
Very much so.
Anyway, on to the 11th.
It's the home of airport aircraft leasing.
Yeah, well, that's
Ireland.
what low corporate tax rates and being an island will do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Naveen will give a few more directions here, kind of like a airport ground staff, but without the sticks in his hands. He takes aim at Rao. Let's see if he can try to break this partnership. First spinning delivery is punched away down to the offside. There's deep protection. It'll just be one run.
Deep cover would have worked.
Deep cover?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Naveen, who's MVP'd the fourths for the last 2 years.
Yeah. Crafty right-hander,
He
we call him.
loves his MVP
Does he?
hat.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you should be proud of that.
He wears it every game.
Faster delivery, zipped in, gets past the bat of Palayan.
Palayan will be feeling that he missed out there. That was a bit wide. Should have got something on that.
But that was that zippier delivery that you see from these spinners sometimes. That delivery's waved off. Naveen sizes up his third. Another zippy one. That's off the edge of the
that's
bat.
not
It's
where he
floated up.
wanted.
There's a fielder there, and it's caught. And that'll be the end of Mr. Palayan. 33 off 28.
Are you going to?
No, or is it Mr. Rao?
No.
It's Mr. Palayan, yeah.
Are you going to whip off now and interview the vampire?
Very good. I like that. And New Orleans author, vampire novelist Anne Rice. I'll tell you a story about her later. But the wooden stake has been driven into the heart of number 14. Caught the edge of his bat, popped it up to point, and the fielder was under it. Took it above his head. And you'll see it here. Naveen spins it up, kind of cut across it, goes up. You can kind of see the panic in his eyes. The oh no. And it's taken solidly by Bhushan, it looks like.
Well, there's
Back into the casket, slam the door. Vampire is no more. Naveen plays the Van Helsing role. No floppy wet hat. You remember that film, Van Helsing, with who's the Australian guy? The Australian actor. He's in everything. The Australian guy.
No, there's a whole lot of Australian guys.
I know, but he's the big Australian guy.
But
I'll remember his name.
What's your woman's name? Kate
Beckinsale. Oh yeah,
Beckinsale.
she's the lady vampire killer in that one.
Vampires, blood spurting, wooden stakes. No idea.
It's huge Ackman. Huge Ackman.
Core or Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
In a corset.
Yes.
Was just the most medieval thing I'd ever seen.
Yeah. Well, don't really know if she's a cricket fan, but I imagine Hugh Jackman is.
Oh, I'd say
Australian.
So. Yeah.
Yeah, probably loves his cricket. Well, either way, the vampire has been hunted, and that'll bring out a new batter, who we will tell you about as soon as we find out who he is.
First true left-hander we've seen today. No.
So
Arian
that's
was
job
left-handed.
done by Naveen. Partnership broken.
Yeah.
So a bit of opportunities open for Pembroke. Let's see if they can capitalize. Mr. Padam.
Full of a wicket often will just help apply the brakes a little bit.
Mr. Padam is our aviation fan, wearing 777 on the back of his shirt.
His overs, well, they didn't quite cost 777, but
Now that's a narrow body plane, if I'm remembering. You know, it's not a
it's the
747.
Dreamliner.
No, that's the 787.
is it?
Yeah. That one's lofted
That
up.
one-
That's cut
oh.
at by him. There's a fielder under it, and
And
the
it's
catch is
another
made
catch.
along the boundary. Andy
Full
Chase
toss.
chases it
Really?
down. It was floated up. It was offered at. It wasn't well struck, but the fielder was there. He measured it up. He took his time, and one wicket, one catch has brought a second catch, and two have fallen here in this 11th over.
87, an unlucky number for Australians, an unlucky number for Sandyfordians as well, it would appear.
Didn't even have enough time to establish this airplane metaphor, although it was apt that he was caught.
Well, yes.
Yep.
Puts it in the air.
In the air, but didn't quite achieve liftoff. Yeah, you can see the replay. Andy Chase does a great job. Gets himself settled under it. 2 safe hands right under his chin, right in front of his sternum, and makes the grab.
And there you go. 3rd wicket falls, and suddenly, do you know what? At the end of the 12th over, and there's 1 ball left to go in the 12th over here for Sandyford.
Yeah.
But Pembroke were 87 for 2, and Sandyford are now 87 for 3.
My, how the worm has turned. But the danger man, Mr. Rao, is still out there.
He is indeed.
He has proven his ability to score runs at a good rate. He's 43 off 29. So you got to imagine, while he's still out there, Sandyford are going to be feeling pretty comfortable.
Yep. Well, Naveen Malapati, he now has 2 wickets for the loss of just 1 run. And it seems that if he keeps the streak going, this will be a single. And he ends up with 2 from 2 from his first over. And Sandyford find themselves at 88 for 3.
88 for 3 after 12 overs. And that'll also mean that the new batter is going to face Clark at the start of the 12th.
It would look that way. There you go. There's the closing of that gap. And look how big that gap was at 8 overs. And yet here we are 4 overs later. And it's exactly the same.
So you got to imagine that these two lines are going to dance, you know, Fred and Ginger style all the way to the end of this game.
It certainly looks that way at the moment.
Yep. What looked like a pretty atmospheric trajectory levels off like a 777 reaching cruising altitude as Clark makes a few adjustments here. So Mr. Jawalagieri is going to be on strike, number 17, again as Clark races in towards us to begin his next over. That's darted in right on the legs. It's struck away to the leg side and fielded cleanly by Captain Clark. 1 ball, 1 dot.
And suddenly there's a bit of chirp. The sun has come out again, shining down on the Pembroke fielders. And there seems to be a bit more life in the Pembroke side now. It's amazing how momentum shifts in sport like this.
Clark's second delivery is tapped right back to him. Yeah, a bit of sun. Reminds you of that great Spanish language musical, Annie, with that famous song, Mañana. You know? Bet your bottom peso that mañana there'll be sun. Legendary.
Sol.
Oh, yeah, thank you. That's probably better as Clark steams in for his third.
Oh, that's a big, just swipe at a delivery. Catches just the end of the bat for thudding into the pads. Clark, for a second, thought he was in with a shout.
So after the 11th, Naveen comes in, takes 2 wickets, breaks the partnership. Single at the end of the 11th brings the new batter on to face Clark, who's in his 3rd over and is getting his radar lock on. 3 deliveries, 3 dots.
Yep.
See that pressure. So watch these next 3 deliveries as this over continues. Can Clark keep the pressure on? Here he goes. That's struck and driven down the field. There's a bit of coverage, but no. That's going to run for 4 right into the locker room.
But you were quite right. The way the first 3 dot balls had started building pressure, you got the feeling the batsman was going to want to chase one. And then he managed to get hold of this one, came forward, half a stride in, took it on the full and just drove it through the offside, and it went over to the clubhouse, 4 more runs.
Credit to Mr. Jawalagieri, the batter. You know, he picked a good one to go after. You know, he was kind of on 4th and a half stump, took a step towards it and was able to drive it where he wanted it to go.
Yeah, very much so. Could score.
This is a very pivotal over in the game here.
Clark coming in, 2 balls remaining. This one is just played into the leg side. Clark after it. They're going to take the second, take on the arm. And they do get home for that one. 2 there. 1 ball remaining in the over.
Yeah, that was well judged by the runners. They saw that the fielder was going to need a little bit of extra time to get there, and were able to take that second run. Final delivery of this over for Eli Clark.
All right. Driven down the ground. Quite sensibly. Take the single. Oh, and it's a misfield.
Misfield kept in.
Eli Clark kicking the ground in frustration. No. He has to realise that the fielder has not done that on purpose.
So that's going to... We're waiting for the call here. The umpire's arm is outstretched.
There's a dispute between fielders, between the fielder on the rope and the Sandyford players on the sideline, and the umpire now getting involved and is asking. And there's arms out from the Pembroke player. Not entirely sure what's happening.
No.
They're trying to decide whether it was a 4 or not, but...
Well, at a certain point, the runner stopped running. So I have to assume this is going to be a very tough angle.
Well, it's going to be an impossible angle.
Oh, yeah. You can see it clearly impact the rope. That's the right call. So the right call was made. Some good healthy discussion.
Yes.
And I think you have to call this pivotal 12th over for Sandyford. So after losing 2 wickets, Clark in the zone coming back, and then they get 10 off it.
They're run ahead at the moment. If a wicket behind, but they won't mind the wickets.
Yeah, we might look back on that stretch of play and say that was it. Might. Naveen returns. He's already got 2 wickets to his name. Let's see if he can spin a little bit more magic here.
Well, it's the spinner who's done the damage, as Sandyford have looked to go after him, and the catches have been taken. And that's the difference. I mean, Sandyford dropped 3 catches that we saw.
Naveen is the first spinner we've seen from Pembroke, is that right?
Today, yep.
That one struck down to the boundary and stopped on the leg side for just 1 run. Kind of popped up a little bit on him. Didn't really get clean contact with him. It was pretty hollow, but enough to earn 1 run. Naveen's second. Floats up. Big cut at it. There's a fielder there. It'll just be the 1 again. It's another long single.
It does bring up the 100 for Sandyford in this, the 14th over. And they've got to be feeling quite good about the way this game is going for them at the moment now.
Well, it was this 14th over when Pembroke made their 100. So this is what we were talking about, those 2 lines in the worm dancing up together. That's a big floater. It makes it through, but it all makes it past the wicketkeeper as well, so they're going to scamper through for 1. It's called a wide, I guess, for height. What is the difference? How come when some balls are high, they're called a wide, and some balls are high and they're called a no ball?
If it's in your head and your shoulder, top of your head and your shoulders.
Yeah.
That's just a high. That's a bouncer.
Okay.
If it's over your head, it's a wide.
Well, how come?
You can't get.
But how come sometimes that's called a no ball? Anyway, we'll debate the finer points of that. That catches an inside edge and runs away. That's just going to be for 1. Back to Eli Clark. And some of the tightness and some of the sharpness is coming out of this Pembroke defense now as the sugar rush of that 11th over kind of wears off and everybody just wants a nap. See if Naveen can bring that sharpness back with this next delivery. The batsman goes after it, cuts it off. It's hit hard down and it's through the legs, unfortunately, and that's going to go for 4. There was coverage out here down in cow corner, and the fielder got to it, but just wasn't able to stop it as it went through the legs and goes for the boundary.
That was not a great piece of fielding by any measure. That's the sort of thing you practice on a Wednesday.
Well, Rao saw that it was floating up there. He went out and he reached out and touched someone and got himself a boundary out of it. He's now 48 off 31. Great day out for him. That one's dragged down. And that one's put away. That's high. It's far. And it looks like it's gone. That's 6 over the stone wall along Cyril's Way. And what a way to bring up Rao's 50.
He shows the bat to the camera.
Yeah.
And why not?
Well, listen, it's a great batting performance from him. 54 off 32. And has been able to continue punishing Pembroke here. Look at him gear up and just let it ride. So we're searching for a new ball at this point. It's a little hard to make out where it goes, but trust us, it's gone. And the enthusiasm of the 11th is draining away. Oh, we have a picture. There he is, Mr. Rao. Excellent.
Look how much better it looks with an actual picture.
It does look good, and that's a great strike rate. It's a great day out for him. Great performance.
So Rao reaches his half century. He's looking to steer his side home now. They've almost jumped another over ahead again as a result of this over.
Yeah, 15 off this one so far, including the 2 extras. So Naveen not able to replicate the punishing 11th. Let's see what he can do in his final delivery as a new ball is fetched.
Well, that's just a sign of a nervous. How can that be a wide?
I think it's just a bit of confusion. Maybe it was like IPL wides, like if it's behind the batter.
No, it hit the batsman.
Oh yeah, I didn't see if it hit him.
Once it hit him, it certainly couldn't be a wide.
Yeah.
That's a worrying level of knowledge of the laws.
Either way, that's been resolved, and here we are, 113 for 3 after 14. So that tightening up that we saw. Maybe let's bring back the worm.
Again.
Can we bring back the worm?
Oh, Charlie, your wish is my command.
Oh, wow.
Got to find.
Yeah. By the power of Grayskull, we can bring back the worm here. And, yeah, we can get a sense of how they kissed and touched and danced together. And then the Sandyford worm has bounced off, deflected, like something off the atmosphere or something. And it's skipped off, or like a stone on the surface of the water.
That's better.
Like the sands through the hourglass.
Oh, look, it's changed again.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let's dip back down again.
That's because they've started the next over.
Oh, we've started the next over,
So
and the next over is in at 0. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if the next 0, if
Yeah.
it was a maiden, they're going to be back level again.
Yeah, yeah.
But
we'll see.
It's a change of bowling, and this is the making of this game. This
Yeah.
is one way or another. This is going to sort this game out.
So on for the 14th is another young spinner, Vihan. Getting some final instructions from his captain. The left arm spinner. We'll see what he can do. Yeah, this is a pivotal
He has
moment.
the capacity to win this game for Pembroke from here. He's a fine young talent with bat and ball in hand.
Now's the time. First delivery from Vihan is floated up, and it's caught on the full, and it's pulled around the corner, and that's going to run for 4.
Well, it's a loosener to start with, that's for sure. That's not where he wanted that one to go.
Yeah, and like a middle reliever in baseball, there's no time.
No.
No time to get your eye in, or no time for looseners.
You do your warm-up in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Well, 117 for 3.
I always thought it was tough to come on and bowl at the end, or, in the middle of the game when you haven't.
Yeah.
No time for warm-up. You just go.
Yeah, and you see closers come out and just straight on it.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing. But then again, that's what they earn the millions for.
Vihan's second delivery is
It's a bit better.
better.
It's still on the leg stump, but it's there or thereabouts. He's cramping the batsman there. Tossed up. Again, played away on the leg side. The fielder after it. There could be a second there.
Is the second taken? Yes. No, yes. Yeah, it was 17. It was Jubble Gary. Right. So 2 runs off that one. You could feel from our silence the tension that's creeping in here. This is the moment where, is this going to be inevitable, or is this going to be the contest?
Well, this is the contest right here, right now. Open stance from the batsman. Playing that one away on the offside and taking the single. And I think that if they play Viran like that, just, well, okay, I'll take that one as a single. Not looking to overpower him or get on top or dominate, just take what you're given. I think that Sandyford will get to their target and get there, well, within time.
See, that was an example of trying to do too much with that delivery rather than
signaled as a wide.
Taking what you're given because you're working for a living. You know that song?
No.
Classic rock staple?
No.
Oh, that's another good one. Hear it all summer on the beaches of Long Island. Here comes Vihan. Better delivery. That's just dribbled away. But because there's nobody home, they're able to scamper through for one. Vihan himself fields it. So after the opening, after his first loosener went for 4, he definitely tightened up in the back half. Oh, no, sorry. One more delivery because of that wide, which I missed somehow. Probably because I was talking about classic rock. Here comes Vihan's last. And another strong delivery, and that's just blocked away for a dot.
Not a bad opening over, but can Pembroke afford to concede at 9 and over at the moment? And the answer is no, they can't. It's 122 for 3 after 15. Sandyford back again, sort of putting them back into the favourite spot. Really,
so what
really need to take a couple of wickets, if only to slow the rate. They've gone with Naveen again. He had a poor third over. He's going to bowl out now.
So we see the run rate, but we don't see the required run rate anywhere.
No.
It doesn't do that math for us. 5 overs to get another 30-odd. You know, that's not a huge requirement.
32 required. 5 overs to get them in. 6 and over.
That first
Oh, that's
delivery's off
right
the
in
foot.
front. Right in front. Batsman saying I hit it. I don't think he did.
It sounded leathery.
Let you be the judge here.
And we'll take a look at this replay.
Oh, played all around this one.
Oh, no. Yeah, maybe the bat.
I think it is. Either way, he plays the same shot, but this time properly, and he picks up 4 runs for it. And isn't that the way of cricket? 1 minute you're on the edge of somebody's decision as to whether you're out or not, and the next, well...
You're swept for a boundary.
You find the rope.
Yeah, there it is. There's the successful sweep, the way he drew it up in his head. And there was no stopping that one.
And it slid away for 4 more runs, 4 more closer to the target. And this one played nicely into the leg side. They take 1 and just leave it at 1, and quite sensibly too.
Yeah, there's no need to really push anything here. No,
just keep going. Joe Lagri has reached 20 quite quickly and has done so without fanfare. This one again clipped away nicely on the leg side. It's looking like it might just make it to the rope, and it does. It beats the despairing dive of the fielder. Another 4 runs, another over that's costing plenty and plenty as far as Pembroke are concerned.
Yeah, they've gotten some looks of some balls down at the drifting down towards the leg, and they've been able to put them away into that really short boundary down there.
Well, this is the only game on in Pembroke today. It's T20 for the 4th 11 against Sandyford in the Intermediate Cup. But we hope you'll join us again tomorrow from noon. The first 11 will be entertaining Rush with Pembroke old boy Alan Eastwood in their ranks. But that could be a fun game to come down and watch on Monday. Or if you're not able to come down, then certainly check out the Pembroke Cricket Live link, and we'll be here bringing you all the action.
So Sandyford after 5 deliveries, have already gotten what they needed from this over and then some, and Pembroke have not been able to restrain them to the lower total that they needed. That one's drifting out, and that's driven away to the offside. They'll get the single, and they've done the job in terms of this over. They've gotten 14 from it, and more than enough to keep up with the rate. We're now 143 for 3 after 16.
134.
134, excuse me. And Pembroke was 119 for 3 by way of comparison. And still, although, yeah, Pembroke did slow down at the end. You know, the rocket fuel innings were really, yeah.
It's the loss of a wicket, and it's wickets that Pembroke need.
But to Jawalagari's credit, he has come in and done a really good job.
He's done a fabulous
27
job.
off 17, not only supporting Rao, but really helping push him on to more. Really good batting performance from Sandyford.
It has been. It was a fine performance in the field from them as well. Harsh Chowdhury top scored the first innings with 64, but Rao's right up there for the Sandyford comparison. He's on 60 off 37.
Here comes Vihan for his second over. Let's see if he can help turn the tide.
Oh, nicely driven along the carpet. They'll just pick up a single to long on. But that's all they need to do now. 4 overs to go. 19 runs required.
Yeah, the tension is kind of leaking out of this one.
It
like
is.
like a pricked balloon.
No good trying to stop the single.
Attempted sweeping there is unsuccessful. After that's called a wide.
Another run. Extras again. However, one has to say, if you want to watch exciting, close cricket, then the fourths are certainly providing that so far this season.
That one's driven off the feet straight into the hands of Captain Clark on the leg side. You know what it is? It's like I miss the vampire is what I miss. I was really restrained there for a long period of time. And now it's, anyway. Vihan's next. That one's floated up and well dug out for a very, very deep single. Oh, no, they're coming back for 2. There's maybe a chance, but not really. The throw from that distance is going to be hard to get with enough strength and on target at this point. But 2 runs saved along the boundary. But saving boundaries.
16 runs required now. Another run. It's just too many of these slipping down the leg side for Viran. He's not really attacking the stumps as per se. The batsman's feeling that if it's out there, it's a free hit.
Yeah, I can't quite see the blue line here. It's definitely gotten worn away. Big appeal. That is unsuccessful, and the batters scamper through for a leg by.
I think that it was an optimistic shout. It was the shout of a side that desperately need a wicket.
Guess we'll see a replay of it here. It'll be hard to see with a camera behind.
But I think he's outside leg. I think it hits him outside leg.
And
Even if it was going on to hit the stumps, it doesn't matter. Pitched outside leg. Back to the live action. Again, another one down the leg side, another wide. And this is proving to be a very long over for the young lad. 3rd wide.
yeah, he's not quite getting it to land where he wants.
No, he should be sort of on the line of middle and off almost. And there
Makes
it
the
is.
adjustment.
Once he makes that adjustment, he takes the wicket.
Yeah, the batter looked like he was trying to make the same kind of swing that he'd been doing at everything that was pitching
Outside leg.
But then when it was pitching in the right place and came back in, that was exactly like you draw it up.
Took an edge and went on to hit the stumps. Finally, pitching one outside off stump and dragged back onto leg stump. And, well, Jaralagi, he's done a good job for his team.
Absolutely.
28 off 18, and he departs now, having broken the back of the chase, really. If his teammates can't get his side home from here, then it's their fault, not his, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah, he's done his bit and more.
Well, 4th wicket falls. 141 on the board.
Really like this note-taking technique.
Just leaves you room to write things down, things that have happened, things of note. And it means then that when I go back to Niall, because let's say something spectacular happened and I'd go over 16.6, and then it will give Niall some direction as to things to include in the end of season video.
Nothing beats a good note-taking system, does it?
Yeah, it sort of evolves. Like the notes I'd take for a first team game would be different to notes I'd take for a 4th team game.
Go on. Tell us how you like to take notes. Sound off in the comments. Let us know.
The interprovincial series, again, I'd have a lot more detail in my notes and be note-taking all the way through the game as well. It's not like scoring, but it's quite similar. But you sort of note things like, 100 partnership came up in the 20th over and things like that.
And that's the level of professionalism we are very lucky to have as Vihan delivers again. That's pulled around the corner Justin is chasing after it.
They will
He
get
will
two.
get there, but it looks like they'll get 2.
So 21 required from the final 3 overs. It's
There's a bit of light.
there is.
You know, there's a crack.
153,
There's a crack in everything.
143.
That's how the light gets in.
11
Only
required.
11 required off of 3. Okay, well maybe it's not quite as bright. Mañana.
There's still
Mañana.
still hope. Another change of bowling.
Hat-trick now.
Here comes Aryan for a bit of left arm pace. This is definitely Captain Clark looking
throw of the dice.
looking to roll the dice. And I don't mean that in roll of the dice that Aryan's not capable as a bowler.
Oh, no.
But the fact that he's coming on this late means that he probably wasn't in the plan.
With only 11 required.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd go back to chase for an over.
Yeah.
Doherty bowled through. So Aryan now, he opened the batting earlier. Had a tough time of it. He will have better days with the bat. Let's hope he has a great day with the ball now.
So this will be the first pace that Rao's seen in a while. So maybe this will catch him off guard as Aryan delivers. It's lofted up in the
Big
air. There's a
blow
fielder
down
ready.
there.
And he's got it.
The catch is taken, and it's a wicket with his first ball, and maybe this game isn't over yet. Well.
The fielder down here right in cow had a tough moment a couple of overs ago when a ball went through his legs, and he's more than made up for it here. Moving to his right, he's able to kind of corral that thing over his right shoulder in his very, very large hands. What a turn of events.
Well, it certainly makes up for the bit of fielding he did earlier, where once between his legs, here is the shot.
Well,
the Sandyford player, well, he's been there a while. He thought he could end this game quickly. He thought it was there to be hit, and all he did was lift it to the player's hands, and ooh, that is a edge of the seat catch.
Can we show that again, please?
Oh.
That's worth a second look. Just the way he reaches out, you can see his fingers at full extension. That's a heck of a catch to bring some hope to a situation that was looking pretty bleak.
Well, 5 down now, and how Pembroke must wish they had another 20 runs to play with. And it's coming down and, intercepted on its way to the boundary. And a wicket with Aryan's first ball in this game.
So the roll of the dice gets the wicket,
And suddenly,
gets Mr. Rao gone, who was 62 off 40. That's a huge change in this.
Suddenly you have 2 new batsmen at the crease. 17 balls to get 11 runs.
Setting aside the math that's required, the pressure they must be feeling now and the difference as a cool wind blows across us here, the vibe, the feeling out there is going to be very different. 2 brand new batters and a whole bunch of extra hope in the hearts of 11 men surrounding them as Aryan steams in for his second.
Well, big appeal from the keeper, nothing from the bowler. And after the keeper appealed, well, mid-on decided to, sure, I'll throw an appeal in there too, just to see if we can make him change his mind. And he didn't, but in a good dot ball. And suddenly, we were saying this game was drifting away. And suddenly, there's energy in the field. There's a good crowd down at the chapel now, watching this game.
All eyes on Aryan for his third delivery. Batter takes a step forward. He pushes it away to the offside, just for 1. Yeah.
Well, that's it. 10 required now. Ganguly and Nayak. Nayak, we saw earlier on, he was fielding in front of us. He didn't have the best of days in the field.
But he
How
has
will
a
he be
chance for redemption, as we always have in these games.
Isn't it
And
amazing how often you get the chance to make up for a mistake or an error? Are you ready to take that chance?
here comes Aryan.
That once the umpire thought about it, but it stayed inside the blue line. I think he's having a word with the young lad. 2 to go. Big smile on the umpire's face.
Well, the umpire knows that the whole vibe of this situation is completely different than it was 3 deliveries ago.
And the sun coming out to shine down on the Pembroke fielders now.
Aryan takes his mark, shake of the head. You can see he's got a good long run up, so he's off camera here. You'll see him steaming in soon. Batter wants a little bit of time to get himself set. Here comes Aryan. Bit of confusion, but they scamper through for the 1 as he just taps it away to the offside. Couldn't really do much with that delivery. I'd say that was the best possible outcome.
From a Sandyford point of view, certainly. 5 wickets down now, 9 runs required, 13 balls. Pembroke still searching for wickets here, really. I think if these two see it through to the end, they will see it through.
Another quick run, but that's really all they have to do at this point.
Yep, absolutely.
So it might be too much. It might be enough, but it might just be too late, unfortunately.
146 for 5. 2 overs to go. 12 balls remaining. 8 runs required. Odds very much in Sandyford's favour, but last week we saw the Force pull their rabbit from the hat.
So who will we see for the 19th? Will we see Vihan again? I'm pretty sure we'll see Aryan for the 20th.
I think
Inshallah.
Eli Clark it is, taking the ball. Great show of faith, father to son, captain to player.
Well, I mean, if you're Captain Clark, you have to know, yeah, there's this game, but there's also the learning that can be gained no matter the outcome of this game.
19th or 20th.
And let's give that education to these 2 young bowlers.
Well, many thanks to those of you who have tuned in all day.
Yeah, as things were drifting there for a while, bit of fielding magic out here in Cow Corner has resuscitated the feeling here at Sydney Parade. And it's all to play for. 8 required from 2 overs.
It doesn't sound like much, and odds are in favour of the batting team. But certainly any side led by Gordon Clark won't give up until the last delivery. This one is flicked away onto the leg side. There is a fielder out the boundary. He makes the stop. They will get through for 2. 2 from the first ball.
All right. Math gets a little bit worse for Pembroke, but there's still a hope. Very exciting finish. These 4s, they're like the heartbreak. They're like the heart attack kids.
Yep. Yep.
Clark steams in for his 2nd.
This time, play back. The bowler picks it up. The batsman slips.
Ooh, but both the batsman and the fielder slipped, so no one could take advantage.
Everybody's stuck there. Dot ball, though, absolutely vital from a Pembroke point of view. 6 runs required. Just 1 big blow now from Sandyford would see them home. But I don't think these 2 are going to do the big blow thing. I think they will get there in singles and whatever else comes around. Just played away on the offside. The fielder out there does make the stop. It will just be the single. It does reduce the runs required, but not the worst result for Pembroke. And Sandyford players on the sideline getting ready to celebrate. They must feel that they're there now. 149, just 5 runs required. Clark comes in. Oh, batsman thought, well, that came off the middle of the bat. There must be a single there somewhere. However, it was shot straight into the fielder's hands, and it would have been most foolish.
5 runs required, 8 deliveries remaining. Well, you got to feel that if Sandyford are patient with themselves and earn it with the small ball, they'll be all right. But if they try to go big and make a mistake, that'll be the difference. That's off the pad. Big appeal.
He's given him out.
And he's given
him out. He's caught in front. It's LBW. Clark picks up a wicket. with the score on 149. 149 for 6. It does bring a new batsman out to the middle with just 7 balls remaining and 5 runs required. And he really is just caught right in front, and even the umpire sort of went, no, that's out. Yeah. Now, with 5 wickets in the shed, you'd still think that you can get the 5 runs required from the 7 deliveries remaining. And the new batsman comes out to the middle, but pressure is a wonderful thing.
The math is irrelevant at this point. It is purely what's between the ears of this new batter who's going to be on strike. That is it.
He's going to have to face 1 delivery at least. Ganguly departed, LBW. He didn't really move his feet, and Clark caught him right in front. 149 for 6. And here is the replay of this. You can be the umpire. You make your decision. I've already made mine, and most importantly, the umpire's made his. That's going on to hit middle on the leg.
So in the 1980s on TV NFL broadcast, there was a bit that was sponsored. IBM presents You Make the Call, and it was about do you make the right call? And that's pretty straightforward to make the call at home. You know, his teammate who self-umpiring today, which has been done in I think in good spirit today.
Oh yeah, no, it's been,
you know, he was
game.
given, and the tension remains in this contest. 1 more delivery for Clark. He needs a dot or a wicket. He needs a dot. Is ideal. The new batter, Somasundaram. Some adjustment in the field.
And just closing up those gaps now. Singles becoming more important to prevent. Harsh Chowdhury has the lid off. He's standing back now.
Your man's just got a free hit here.
Yep.
Here comes Clark.
The one thing he's not going to do, surely, is take a single.
There it is.
Well, that is not the worst result for Pembroke. Oh, they're going for 2. They are going for 2. And they get there.
Ooh.
And they get 3 runs for that because of the wide as well. And that takes them up to 152 and just 2 required now from the last, from 7 balls. Because of the wide. We'll have that one again. Well, this game is swung left
do you
and
have
right.
that? Do you have that again? Okay.
Yeah, this swung left and right, this game. Eli Clark belying his youth. But unfortunately on that occasion, 4 runs coming from that 1 delivery that got past the keeper. 2 required.
2 required for victory. Clark steams in.
It's played away on the leg side, but it will just be a dot ball, and that will mean that this game will go down to the final over. Sandyford still require 2 more runs. They have 4 wickets in hand. If it comes down to wickets, I am a Dutchman. However,
What's the rules? Do we find you have super overs?
there should be super overs.
There's always a super over joke from
Niall.
From Niall.
Niall is dying to cover his first super over. Hasn't happened as yet.
At least write the rules that everything has super overs.
Well, as we go into the last over of this game, I'll take this opportunity to thank everybody involved with the Pembroke Cricket Live. We've had with us this weekend, Sid was with us yesterday, and Graham, and we've had James and Charlie back in the box, myself, Niall as always, in control of everything. And many thanks to Pembroke themselves who have helped us along the way. Also like to thank the scorer, Nick Blackley, doing the job today, and he's done a fine job down there providing us with these graphics. Also personally, of course, I'd like to thank Amanda for letting me be here. Well, I say that like she keeps me locked up in a cupboard at home. It's not quite the case.
2 runs required, 6 deliveries remain. Step forward, looped in the air, and he's caught. First delivery results in a wicket. The cardiac kids of the Pembroke Fourths are still alive in the final over. 2 runs to win, 5 deliveries remain.
Well, what a swipe at the ball that was. Malik hasn't had the best of days, and it showed here. Well, that just compounds everything for him today. The drop catch, and now throwing a toe at that one, and really, that is not what you want to see at the other end. My goodness.
And you have to imagine. Can we punch in on that huddle there, Niall? What is being said in there? What is going on?
Well, will they take 3 wickets?
Rosaries? You know, breath work? What's happening?
Well, there are a few smiles in there. Gordon Clark talking to his troops. The batsman is out there. I mean, at least there's no...
You give him that bit of grace here. This is too good a finish for all of us. This is the difference, though. We'll all remember a close game.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we'll tell stories about the close game. This is way better for everybody.
Well, yesterday we saw a bit of a one-sider. Railway all out for 95, and Pembroke got there for the loss of 1 wicket.
Yeah.
Today, well, we're seeing far more happening. We've seen 10 wickets fall in these 40 overs. We've seen, well, over 300 runs this afternoon. It's been a good game.
2 runs required. 5 deliveries remain. Swing and a miss.
And the scores are level.
And call
just
a wide.
like that.
It's not the way you want to see the score tied.
No, but Sandyford won't mind.
Nope.
They've 2 batsmen out there who have faced 1 delivery between them. And they've got to see their team home now. You can see the tension on the Sandyford sidelines. All the players standing up, ready to celebrate. And there's a big swipe. Oh, awful throw. And it all ends up, after all that action, with just a dot ball. Well, Charlie, 3 balls remaining, 1 run.
Now 4 balls remaining because of the wide, and it's a tie ball game. 4 balls, 4 deliveries for a miracle super over or whatever comes next.
It'll be a tie.
Yeah,
Will it be a
it's
tie?
It's a tie.
Is it not like the kind of thing where, you know, like Heisenberg uncertainty principle, if we stop a particle, we don't know if the whole world will explode? Here comes Aryan. That was dug out of the dirt. Another great delivery from Aryan.
Well, he's getting good applause from the sideline. The crowd certainly joining in here at Pembroke now.
If you come to Pembroke, you can have a seat, but you'll only need the edge. Tie score.
Well, the
3 deliveries remain.
fielders coming in now. Gordon making sure absolutely every fielder in the right position. Big swing, it clears the ring, and nobody left in the outfield to prevent it reaching the rope. He hits the 4, and that is a cracking game. It goes down to 2 balls remaining after that, but Sandyford reached their target, and they reach it for the loss of 7 wickets. And that is a fine game of cricket you've joined us for.
The new batter at the crease does the job, goes down to 1 knee, and smacks it over the drawn-in infield. Down to Cal for the game-winning boundary. What a game. Fantastic.
Absolutely terrific game.
And it'll be remembered for some really
Interesting
exciting
commentary.
You know, some really exciting batting in the first innings.
Yep.
You know, after a very slow start, 100 partnership.
And it's that slow start that's cost them in the end.
Yeah, and it'll be remembered for some very solid batting from Sandyford.
Yep.
And some late inning heroics from the Pembroke bowling attack to make sure it stayed interesting as long as it possibly could.
Well, it was there to the end. And Gordon's fourth 11 fall to their first defeat of the summer. However, what a cracking game to be
It
involved
had
with.
something for everyone. Urban planners, vampire hunters, aviation enthusiasts. Everybody had something they could find in that game.
Well, we hope they join us next time that we're on. Tomorrow it's the first 11 against Rush, but today we'll just take you through the cards here now. Niall, I'm going to go through the cards, getting the okay from my director, and Sandyford forming their huddle on the outfield, where they'll discuss what was, in the end, a squeaky bum win. There we go. There's the Pembroke batting card. The highlights, obviously, as you can see, Bhushan Bavaskar with his 57 from 48 and Harsh Chowdhury with his 64 from 45. Pembroke, well, they struggled in the first 6 overs. They were 17 for 2 at that stage. And it's that slow start that really has cost them in the end. They scored 153 for 3. The Sandyford bowling, well, attack, it was certainly a team attack. There was only 3 players who didn't bowl. And there you see 8 bowlers used in a T20, and none of them particularly stand out as being brilliant, except maybe Jeffy Sam Joseph with his 2 for 12 off only 3 overs.
Yeah, I think the question is why Joseph and Rao didn't get a 4th.
Yep, strange one. Anyway, in reply, they were chasing 154 for victory. They got to 157 for 7, and there were 2 balls remaining in this contest when they finally crossed the finish line. Rao looked really good for his 62, Charlie.
Yeah. Rao had a great game playing with his partner, the Vampire, Mr. Palayan. They weren't quite able to get to 100 together, but they played their part. They more than did what they needed to do to put their team in a position to win. And
then Satash Jarolagi with his 28 off just 19 deliveries, he really sort of turned it in their favour. Yeah,
you'd want to call it a cameo, but it was more important than that, because at a time when we were wondering if they could sustain the level of pace that they had, Jarolagi absolutely did what he needed to do.
And there is the Pembroke bowling, only the 7 bowlers used to varying states of affair. And again, wickets shared amongst them. Naveen, he took 2 in an over, and that sort of gave Pembroke hope early on, but took a bit of tap later on. And then Aryan at the end, he came in and took 2 for 8.
Yeah, and then the catch here in front of us down deep in Cow corner, the Kulal's catch was fantastic. That was what changed the spirit of the ending of the game and gave that last bit of hope.
So there you have it. That's the end of this Intercup game between Pembroke 4ths and Sandyford 2nds. Many congratulations to Sandyford 2nds on a well-deserved victory. Their bowling up front probably tipped the scales in their favour by the end of the game. Tomorrow we will be here at midday. Tomorrow we'll be here at midday as the first 11 play another Premier League game. The only double-header weekend for the firsts all season. They had a good win on Saturday against Railway. And we really hope that they have a good game tomorrow against Rush. 2 home games in a row for the firsts. And that's just sort of the weekend you want to have. We will be here with Pembroke Cricket Live. Charlie, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. And Brendan Ferris was delighted with your description of the Manhattan earlier on. There is the match summary. Myself and Charlie will leave you with that. And we hopefully will catch you tomorrow, as I say, at midday on Pembroke Cricket Live on YouTube.
Take care, y'all.